Welcome to Cake with Care C. I'm your host, Care C, here with Kinetic.
Hey, what's up?
We're here for another live to air show, Tuesday, March 21st, 2017. I'm sorry, people. Just turning my phone off. Yeah, but we're here live to air. Send your people over to vexradio.com to join the conversation. Scroll down a bit and you'll see the link right there, Cake with Care C. You'll see the logo. Just click there and you'll be added to the show. And definitely tonight I'm going to post the link on that same page on vexradio.com where you can, the link that will take you into the conversation where you can join and voice your opinion. And I would really, really welcome your opinion, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on this topic, since we're talking about something that actually sparked a lot of conversation, sparked a lot of anger over the last few days, courtesy of Mr. Tyrese Gibson, singer, actor, and constantly on Instagram personality. So we'll get into that, and I will let you know what he actually posted and what he started and all that good stuff, and we'll get into our thoughts. And so definitely, if it is possible for you to join the conversation tonight, as long as you have a smartphone, a tablet, laptop, PC, anything, and you can download Google Hangouts, you can join the conversation. It's that simple. It takes like a couple minutes to get set up, and just click the link. It'll say, you sure you want to come in on this conversation? Say yes, and you will be right in it with us. We're here for a couple hours or so. So yeah, invite your people, and we'll get into it a little bit in a little bit. How are you, Kinetic?
Good, I'm good. A little ruffled my feathers, a little ruffled getting here, but I'm here.
Yeah. um,
Uh,
is it traffic? Is it? I don't know when traffic actually dies down because I was actually stuck. I see you. Can you,
Hello?
are you seeing your screen? Hi, Nettie. Hello.
Oh, oh, it's finally connected.
Oh gosh,
I
you're
was like,
so
I heard you when you guys were off air and checking the mics and whatever else, and I was like, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
good. Lord, you got to be giving all our background business and stuff, Nettie.
No, every
First you barge in, you just barge
all
in,
hold
and
on a second. All entertainers, musicians, they check their mics before they go live, right?
yes, we do. Yeah,
So
yes,
that's what we
yes,
were
we
doing,
do. You
right?
hear me? I'm kidding. Mic check, mic check. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yes. So you are here, and how are you? How are you doing? I was just we're doing our little check in. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, actually. Good thing you caught me today because I'm going to Florida tomorrow, so I wouldn't have been able to check in next week with you guys.
Ooh,
well, what are you
why are
doing?
you going? Why are you going to Florida for so
And
long?
I'm doing some photo shoots on there.
Wedding things or what?
No weddings. I'm going to Jamaica on the 21st for a wedding, but
Lord.
Yeah.
these ones are just photo
Need an
shoots.
assistant?
Show up. Yeah, I think you need somebody to help. I don't know. Carry something for you. I'll hold your
Carry
drinks.
something. Hold my
You
drinks.
sweat a little, right? I'll blot
Yeah,
your forehead and stuff.
nice, nice.
Don't
Thank
you
you.
need someone to do that? No, for real. That's
No,
important. You got sweat on the lens and it just ruins the whole shot.
you're right. You're right.
So let me hook a sister up, Nutty. Like,
Hold on. Bros before hosts.
yo, what? No, he
Before
said,
host.
I know I heard hosts. So,
That's no
Host. He said
hosts.
host.
ST,
Host.
yeah,
He said
okay.
host. Yes,
I
yes.
think
I
you're
little
slick.
play out of words, in light of the conversation we're about to have.
Yeah, yeah. And there are two men on the line. So ladies, I'm really urging you to or inviting you, let me put it that way, because I ain't begging nobody, but it would be really nice to have some female company tonight to hear what your thoughts on men feeling as if they have a place to comment on what we do with our bodies and how we display our bodies and all that good stuff, because that's what it kind of boils down to me. But just to remind everybody, vexradio.com, best place to listen to hip hop, R&B, old school, new school, and it's on 24/7. Wherever you are in the world, you can tune in. I was going through some old posts and saw one where I was in Jamaica, one of my trips, and getting ready and listening to Vex. And so it's nice. It's nice to be able to just play what you want to hear. Sometimes you want a little break from what's maybe playing on the radio, wherever you are. And yeah, so wherever you are, you can tune in and you can send a shout out and request your favorite tunes. I'll give you that number a little later tonight, and also remind you where and how you can listen to all of our past podcasts or shows that are available on most of your podcast players. And some will have feature Nettie Nice, who was with us for a couple of shows.
Yeah, and I took a break.
And he was out. He's like, you know what?
Yeah, you know what? It was like
yeah, he took a break.
I took a break. He was just like, yeah, I'm out. So
Yeah.
I'm too busy with his photography and all that good stuff. But which are you fully booked for wedding season this year, or you still got a couple of slots? Or
There's always like for every wedding season, there's always like just a few days that nobody wants.
mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times, if there is a date that ends in a 13, people don't want that date, you know, for superstitious reasons.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I don't think that it's possible to. And there's some dates that I just black out myself. Like you know what I say, I don't want to work on this weekend, maybe because caravan or whatever, right? So it's not like it's not always like fully booked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long are you in Florida for? I'm just, you know what? Maybe we need to save that for our own conversation, like a private conversation. Oh Lord! But you were gonna say something. I cut you off.
Oh yeah. So what I was gonna say is I don't know many photographers that have 100% of their days booked for weddings, and that's also very
yeah.
it's very strenuous on the body to do that many weddings.
Oh Lord, on the body, Nettie, for real.
Yes.
On the body.
Traveling. I'm traveling to Jamaica like at least.
Such hard work.
You have to go to the airport. You have to get checked in, customs.
Carry your little carry-on.
Your carry-on. You do that like
Nettie, my violin is playing for you. The smallest violin in the world.
The small violin.
Who are you? Oh my gosh! I got to take another trip to Jamaica to an all-star, like a 5-star all-inclusive.
Traveling can be stressful.
It can be, but I think once you arrive, you're good.
Yeah, you're all right.
No,
waiting in airports and stuff.
Yeah, that's a welcome stress. I'm going somewhere.
Exactly.
Caught up on a plane beside somebody coughing beside you. You know,
oh brother.
Really, Nettie? You know what? You see what you're doing right there? That's a blessing. And you know how many people would I don't want to say kill, but would do a lot to have that type of stress and problems. So be grateful.
There's a lot of girls doing a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of girls doing a lot of stuff. That's why they're getting makeup jobs and
And they love their travel. They're all over Instagram with it.
They're traveling, but it ain't for free.
Yeah. Maybe if my clients were flying me first class, then I'd enjoy it a little bit more.
On these planes that we're taking down to Jamaica first class and all of that, but
yeah,
whatever. But yeah, but it's your Instagram is can be kind of entertaining. It's nice to look at, so you could remind the people how to follow you.
Oh yeah, so my Instagram is Too Nice Photography, and that's the number 2, and then NYCE Photography on Instagram. Okay. And that's the website as well, if anybody wants to know.
There we go. And Kinetic, all good with you?
Yeah, man. As I said, so I'm just right now. It's just in both fields that I'm in. The new field I've taken on, and I'm learning. And my regular field is like now is hot season. It's like so learning a whole new. I guess industry and whole new field, and it's like just overwhelming. And then it's hot time for So it's kind of like combined. It's like overload, the
Sorry,
sensory overload. So,
what's the industry?
oh, see, I was trying.
No, because I missed out. I haven't been on the show for a while, so I'm sure you guys have lots of
What
combo there.
I do it, you know what I do. It's just not,
You guys can
not
discuss
public.
that later, I
We'll
guess.
talk about it. Yeah, but yeah. So, anyways, at the end of the day, um, it's, it's kind of exciting just being in a whole new field and just learning everything because thinking about entering the whole field and so
We're losing you a bit. We're losing you a bit.
I was
Kinetic,
saying
you're
it's just
still
a
on
real
that
hectic time for me right now.
that phone connection that's still cutting out.
Yeah, because we're losing you a bit, just so you know.
Okay.
Fix your stuff.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Okay.
show.
All right. Well, you're here. Thank you for being here, and yeah, it's nice to hear you and have you with us tonight, Nettie. So, and not have you next week since you'll be in Florida.
Where's my
And
friend, Super Nerd?
so, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you, but I know she's still online. You could look her up, hit her up, say what's up,
Okay.
and all that good stuff. But what's that? So yeah. Anyway, okay. Getting into tonight.
Shout out, Mr.
Oh, that's what you said. Okay, yeah. Shout out, Miss Super Nerd.
Yeah.
No, I'm a super nerd. It's like I was talking to her the other day, and she just taking care of stuff and getting her stuff together. Her together. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember she was.
She's straight.
Yeah, I know you're kind of cutting out a bit again, Connect, but no, she was very heading out of last year, and into the new year. She was really focusing on herself and doing some things, and so I'm sure that's and she's a busy lady overall. She juggles a lot, so I'm sure we'll I don't know, see something, or if you follow her, like I'm pretty sure she's still on Instagram and social media. So yeah.
Cool.
Right on.
Anyway, about tonight, Tyrese sparked some stuff last week. He had put up a post, and it's funny because I was having a conversation about this topic, and someone had mentioned out of the whole Remy Nikki
This
for whatever, the beef that battle that came up the other day, which wasn't really in my opinion, but one thing when Remy commented on Nikki's ass dropping and pointing at other fake things about her, the term surgery shaming came up again, and I think I had heard someone else with that before. One of Kanye's ex, or whatever, one of these chicks, and I just thought, these people with these terms and these, like, everything is shaming. You comment on something or you call something out, and all of a sudden it's there. It has a label. It has this, and it's gonna have like this big team and this fight and people going against it. And I just thought it was. I just thought that term was kind of ridiculous. Like, I just thought it was hilarious. I mean, people have been getting facelifts for decades. And when they do, and there were some really bad ones, nose jobs and other things that happen, and when they are very obvious or really bad, people can't help but comment on them, and they're going to say what they want to say. And especially when you're in the public eye, like, people are going to say what they want to say. And so to label that now as surgery shaming, I'm like, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a stretch, and we can get into that a little more. So I had heard that a few weeks ago, out of that whole Remy Nikki thing, and saying almost as if Remy shouldn't comment on anything she's done because, like, she shouldn't make a woman feel bad for enhancing herself. And then all the other things that people post online about, I don't know if you've seen some of these posts with the implants all over the place, looking like they're about to slip out of other areas of the body,
Yes.
jiggling all over, out of control, as if they're out of the socket, or I don't know. Just, and some of them look really painful. Some of them just look. It's just ridiculous. This is hilarious to me. Like, I'll tell you the truth. I see some of these videos, I laugh. Like, I'm like, no, this can't be real. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then it's
It is
crazy
real.
to think. And then it's crazy to think that someone actually be out in public thinking this looks good and shaking it and flaunting it. And then I actually feel really bad because I'm like, that's really sad that, someone would do that. And then, I think a lot of people are doing these things and not realizing that you got to be able to maintain them and keep it up, and it costs money, and I don't know. So anyway. So then fast forward to last week when Tyrese put up a post about women. He didn't say one specific group, but he put it up. And actually the post what I posted today was left off, like the top bit of it, where he explained where this came from. It was out of a conversation that he was a part of with a group of women who were talking about men that are fooled, or men that will go for these women, these eye candy women, who basically create their
Candy the who?
well, this is it, that create this create this image. And there is a cookie cutter image that is out there, that a lot of women are aspiring to have. Like, some do it with surgery, some don't. Some is just with hair or lashes, with makeup, clothing, padding, so padded bras, padded butts. Like, people achieve it, in different ways. But in some people's opinion, the extreme way is to do it with surgery. And for some people, that's like, oh my gosh, like, you've gone too far. And other people, it's like, it's a part of the game now. It's just like wearing a padded bra. It's like, nah, let me just, and implants, like breast implants, have been around forever too. But now people are implanting, putting implants everywhere, removing things from everywhere, shifting things around. And so, but let me just, so for anybody who missed it, Tyrese posted, and this is the main part of it. So he says, I'm going to try to read it word for word. I just feel the need to send a message to all the ladies who think dudes are just stupid. We know the difference in real hair and fake clip-ons. We know eyelash extensions. We know fake hard titties pointing in 4 directions with your ribs showing in the middle. Why so much separation? We know when you got little chicken legs and it leads to an oversized #fake ass, you guys are really starting to go too far with manufactured beauty. Fake lips, skinny nose, barely can even breathe through your own nostrils, sitting across from you and you couldn't even hide your weave tracks. Come on. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just sending a message that us real men see the BS. And if he decide to rock with you, it's just because they want to get one off. No one will ever take you serious like that or really make that move, because you look like a manufactured clown. Some of you have convinced yourself that it's okay because of how many dudes be trying to get at you. Please let me explain. You got your temp fix and you will continue to, quote unquote, attract men who only want a temporary fix. Shout out to #TeamNatural, #TeamSquats, and #Take Me As I Am. #Team Harsh Truth. Yeah. So
lots of hashtags in there.
Yeah, well, a few. But there was a lot. He said a lot. He called out. And I mean, the part of not trying to be mean. I don't know. His choice of words didn't sound too nice, or like they didn't really sound like they were coming from a very caring, helpful place where he was here trying to counsel women and help women. So as men, What are your thoughts?
Are you addressing one of us first? You want us to go?
Either
In,
one.
Well,
Whoever.
you're the quote unquote guest today, so you can go ahead, Nettie.
oh, you're not a
I have
guest. You're a permanent
I have a
statutory.
lot.
He has been. Have you not been listening? No, clearly not.
I've been
Meg has been
listening.
like on almost every show, or practically
Yes.
every show.
Just let Kinetic know who started off. I was there before he was. Just saying.
That's cool. That's cool.
Really?
That's
I'm
cool.
kidding. I'm
We're gonna
kidding.
go back in the files. We're gonna go back
With
and
the
check it out.
files.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm about to say that
I don't
I
think
just said
so.
that's cool. It's not the truth, but I said okay, cool.
Alternative facts.
I wouldn't say that. I'm just
So
being polite. I was like, Nettie
No,
can go
I'm
ahead
saying that
because
because I'm like,
I have a lot to say. So I'm gonna let Nettie, start his and yeah,
um
trust
I think where it is with what he's saying, I kind of agree with, but at the same time I don't agree with it.
hmm
Because I can understand like certain surgeries that women do. Um like it's more for a confidence thing, like to boost their confidence.
hmm.
But on the other hand, a lot of times, like women go too far with it. Like in terms of like what he's saying with the skinny legs, and all of a sudden it goes to a huge, ginormous like butt area, whatever. Like I think that's going too far. You can't outdo what exercise does.
Hmm.
So if like if there's any ladies listening right now, you put yourself on a proper workout schedule and eating properly, eating clean and stuff like that, you'll get those things like naturally, like how he's saying hashtag team natural and stuff like that, right?
hmm
So it's almost like we're in this right now. This society that we're in is kind of I call it a disposable society that we're in right now. Everything is like quick, fast, and okay, it's not working.
yeah.
Just throw it out. Get a new one. Oh, I want this. Get some implants done. Get some surgery done, or whatever. So it's kind of like no one wants to put in real work for anything. So not only for their bodies and stuff like that, relationships across the board, everything, jobs. People don't want to put in the efforts anymore as it was like way back. So it's kind of like we're in this is what the society is now. It's a disposable society. So girls going out there and doing that because they don't want to go to the gym and spend hours working on their body is kind of what the society is pushing for, because people will look at other people and say, oh my gosh, look at her, how come she looks like this or whatever, right? All of
hmm
a sudden, for the past like maybe 6 or 8 years, maybe 10 years, there's been some emphasis on eyebrows for women now, where it wasn't like that maybe 20 years ago. Who cared what your eyebrows look like? But all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, look at her eyebrows or whatever. It goes so far as the girls are even getting eyebrows tattooed on, right?
hmm
That far. So it's kind of like, I think I'm not saying it's okay, but this is kind of what the society is pushing for. Is pushing for fake people, for a disposable society. This is how we've kind of led it this way, and it kind of just took over and is this way now. Does
Hmm.
that make sense? Does that make sense? It made
I
it made
hear
sense.
you.
It made sense in my head. I'm not sure if it came out the same way I was thinking it.
No, I hear what you're saying, but
And
I was
Kinetic?
waiting to hear your personal opinion, your personal
Yeah.
take on the women that, or the looks, the enhancement, whatever that Tyrese described. And since he spoke about, what did he recall? You call it smart men, or smart men know? And I don't know if you would group yourself in that category. So
Yes.
is he speaking for you? And are you as turned off by everything that cause he seems to be, it seems like when you're reading he's turned off by all this, and all of what he listed he could do without. So are you feeling the
I
same?
yeah, I am. Personally, I'm turned off by it because, as a photographer, I examine things very carefully, like very specifically for, like for photography wise, right?
Mhm.
So men and women and stuff like that. Somebody comes in front of me and they're like, I'm gonna photograph them. I'm looking. I'm like, there's something off about what they did. They did something to their face. They might have done like a cheekbones lift or something, but something looks off and it doesn't look natural anymore. And I don't want to, be religious and stuff like that, but I don't think God intended it to be like this. You get what I mean?
Mm. Mm.
I think that a lot of times people should be happy with how they are, right? Otherwise, it just makes this whole generation to be fake. Like you're having people walk around looking fake. You're living online, hiding behind a computer, going on internet dating sites, fake. You're showing up to job interviews with a fake resume, fake. It's like no one like what's real anymore. We're eating plastic food, fake. Yeah, you get what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's
Mhm.
kind of like
Mhm.
everything is. It's like we're just running into this fake world. So I kind of agree with Tyrese and what he's saying in terms of that sort of stuff. I don't like it. I don't like anything really like like that, like going on fake like that. It's kind of too much.
Mhm. And
And
kinetic?
women,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Mhm.
Yeah.
sorry,
Oh, sorry. Go on,
um,
eh?
so women with the hair stuff, um, I can understand it, and I'm not knocking anybody with the hair stuff because a lot of times it does look good with the hair and stuff like that. But um, I'm not what's the word? Well, basically, I'm not knocking any women who do like the fake hair stuff and whatever and stuff like that because I can understand why people would do that for confidence, being out there and stuff like that. But I'm more towards the natural side myself.
Mhm.
So, kinetic. Hello.
Kinetic?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it my turn? Yeah, my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so I let me just say, I'm a very strong advocator for naturalness when it comes to women.
Mhm.
Um, okay, that's like I don't care what race, creed, or you are. Um, I think when it comes down to just people, like what, you got to understand, there's two type of people in this world, right? When it comes down to this quote unquote enhancement and plastic surgery and straight clown making over, as Tyrese said, right? Um, so before I go into my thoughts, let me just say I'm not an advocate at all for plastic surgery, no matter what. I think it destroys a person instead of building up a person, destroys a person. Unless it's like they've been burnt in a fire or something of that nature, is one thing. Makeover or made up is totally different. So let me just make that clear. It's like, if you've been burned in a fire, or you've been your face has been crushed or something of that nature, and yes, plastic surgery 100% should be done. Should it be redone? No. Made back to? Yes, who you are. Nettie said, now having said that, just like Nettie said, is that the society has become okay with fakeness and quote unquote enhancement, or I should say over enhancement, that the mentality has now been okay, and it transcends not only the physical, it transcends the whole personality of the person that's getting it done. Okay. Now, as I said, there's two different people um, that get this done. There's the attention seekers and ones that are trying to, I guess, profit off of their looks. And then there are the people that don't have the confidence, that try to, you know, improve upon their situation, like, whether it be physical or whatever it is. It's like, it's just an improvement or enhancement, right? Like, they say, oh, my breasts are small, let me get that done. There's a little bump on my nose, things of that nature, right? At the end of the day, it all comes down to self-esteem. That's a common denominator when it comes down to any quote-unquote enhancement, body enhancement. It comes down to self-esteem. You're not a confident person, and sure, you'll get this done, but when you get this done, then you find out we'll get that done. And what it comes down to, as I said, the attentions that are trying to profit off of, they end up being, let's say dancers or call girls, or like kept women, things of that nature. As I said, the ones that get made over with the extra double D breasts and the lip injections and the nose, stuff of that nature, and they just look like total clowns. If you it's just by no means, and this is my disclaimer, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything. It's just, the study of people over the years. I'm a people watcher, and just straight my opinion.
I kind of got only part of that conversation.
Sorry?
Here, see, did you hear everything he was saying?
See.
Yes. I'm
listening.
No. You're kind of, you're a little wonky in and out, but maybe I've learned to.
I haven't been on in a while, so I don't know what that's supposed to be like. So I'm not used to it. Sorry.
Okay.
Sounds like
why don't you tell me what you heard? And
you sound like auto tune.
I don't. As our regular listeners know, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know what happened.
So now you sound perfect. So whatever you're doing right now. No, I think. I mean, you should say it because I'm not an interpreter. But like just the gist of what you were saying, just like your overall.
So basically, what it comes down to is that the overall sense is that there's two types of personalities. There's the the ones that want to profit from their makeover, and that's the ones that end up looking like clowns and they become call girls, or like strippers or whatever it may be, or kept women, trophy wives, that kind of thing. And then there's the other aspect of those that just want a little enhancements, little improvements. They have a bump on their nose and it's just a confidence builder. Like, they want to get rid of the vanity aspect of it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, what it comes down to now, as I said, what it really, the common denominator, however, is that it comes down to confidence. Regardless of situation, anybody that does any kind of body enhancement other than a natural workout is a non-confident person or unconfident person. Okay. Now we can go to the left hand, to the extreme left hand side.
Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm still listening. I'm just muting for a second. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Yep.
Now we can go to the extreme left hand side of it and say, what, the girls, like the strippers, the call girls, they are quote unquote the Barbies. They they're the ones that are trying to profit off of quote unquote men's fantasies, that they think are what men really fantasize. And yes, a man will get with a woman like that. Certain kind of men will get with a woman, but they just want those women to become objects. Those women are just objects. She has double D breasts, and she got butt in implants and things of that nature. So those men objectify those women, and you have the negative attention, they have the positive attention on both aspects of that. Some men generally do like that, but will they like it for long? That's the question. Are they the trophy for extension, so that their fellow guys will gawk and say, wow, you got that? But if you look at every successful man, if he has a woman like that, how long will the woman stay that way? How long does she stay wife material? When she finishes her use or whatever it is, she's misplaced. She's totally usually like replaced by somebody who's natural or somebody that is wife material and quote unquote wife material, more presentable, or a younger version or model of himself if he's still immature in that sense and is still looking for that unhealthy attention, right?
Mm.
So it's like, yes, you become that fantasy for that man, and that's what a lot of women do for. They do for themselves, but actually is for the attention of men, and realize that they become objectified. And this is just a general context. Not every man uses women like that, or objectify women like that. We're talking about the mass majority, because you know what? If you go to a strip joint, your breasts and and whatever it may be. Me, I'm not a breast man. I like tits, if I could say that.
Isn't it PG?
Did you just say I'm not a breast man, but I like what? So oh Lord, explain that statement.
No, well, like I said, tits, not heavy, no more.
For some reason, I kind of understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm no more than a handful. No more than a handful. I like women proportionated. When it comes to that, when I visually look at a woman, my things is eyes, lips, waistlines. That's my thing,
Right.
And a woman should be naturally, proportionated. That's what it comes down to for me. When you start getting into the double D's, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just talking about my preference, right? I'm not that guy that wants a woman with double D's or double E's or and stuff of that nature. I don't objectify or sexualize women based on their bodily attribute, right, or their body attribute, right. So what, you look at it, you might you see one of those women, you might look and you might laugh a little, because it's funny to me. I'm not attracted to that. I'd never get with a woman that way. If you've ever seen any of my ex-girlfriends, even if they did have breasts, it wasn't something that people would gawk at or like, oh my God, point at,
Right.
So that, for me, I just like natural women. You know what? Whatever you got, work it and work it well. If you have stretch marks or you have that baby after skin or whatever it is, what it is. It's, if you don't feel comfortable with it and you want to get it tucked or flattened or whatever it may be, that's entirely your choice. It's to understand it's your body. What you do with your body is what your body. But when you start over enhancing and start making over and making different than you naturally are, that is 100% a problem for me.
Yeah.
I would never wife a woman. I'd never look at a woman like that. I'd never get with a woman like that, because I like confident women. And as I said in the beginning of the show, or top of my I guess dialogue, or my view, is that I'm not an advocate of any form of augmentation or things of that nature. It should be, if it is going to be done, and it's your body, your choice. If you're going to do it, then it should be enhancement back to what you naturally were, right?
Right.
Not made different, because if you make different, that means you don't have the confidence. That means it's a personality thing for me, which means that I'm not going to be attracted to who you are now.
Right, but some women, they feel that they need to be like that just because of how society is kind of pushing things towards that.
Well, you got to remember where that whole thing, the whole Barbie ideas come from. Remember, because Barbie had to be made, right? For Barbie, and that was perpetuated, right? The whole aspect of Barbie had to be made. So think about that, right? Where that actually comes from, if you really think about it, is the whole pageant idea. And you know what? And when cultures like, not to single out, but are known for, like Venezuela and certain other countries of South America's, they that is society. Is like, you know what? It's kind of like, it's even it's a term of endearment, or not a
Yeah.
term of endearment. It's a term of status. Like, you know, in Venezuela, women will go around, and even if they don't have the money or had any surgery done, they'll put stuff on their nose and walk around with it because it's a term of status. It's like, if you have money to get plastic surgery, you know, then
Right.
you have status. So it's a welcome idea. It's like, you know what? That's what they do. And in Colombia, like, you know what? If you look at these women, you go into the whole pageant idea, you know, Miss Universe, the Mrs., you know, the whole pageant idea, that is where the whole, and I can't pinpoint and say that's exactly when it started, or whether it was like the chicken or the egg, like which came first. But the idea of the whole Barbie aspect, the beauty queen aspect, the thing does kind of come from that. And then the winners from that kind of made it okay. It's like, all right, you want to be beautiful. This is your idea of what beautiful is now. Skinny, you know, anorexic, you know, straight noses, quote unquote, Eurocentric idealisms of what beauty is. And then, because, you know, what the rulers come the dictatorship, you know, comes the advertisement of what society would deem, or what they're educated with, right? So it's kind of like the beauty pageant turned into the Barbies made it okay. Every little girl wanted to get a Barbie and wanted to look like Barbie, or, you know, be that Barbie. They married into the
Right.
Barbie princess, you know. So it's like, now you are now of status if you can look like a Barbie.
Okay, I gotta cut him
Have
because you're kind of fading too right now, Kinetic. This is a good time, but no,
Little Kim
because
came.
oh, I don't think he's hearing me.
I can hear you. Am I clear?
Yeah, you're super clear. Kinetic? No, you were kind of cutting out, but okay, I have to jump in. And I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of like questioning based on what you guys are saying too, because it's interesting, and in no way am I challenging you guys, but I'm in a way challenging the thought, because I've had conversations with people and men about these topics, or specific surgeries or enhancements over the years, right? And I heard, and I think it's funny, and it's very familiar. And so I'm hearing, and you said some things, Nettie, and I think Kinetic, you said you're saying similar things, maybe using different words, but so one thing I have to comment on, because a big thing you're saying is the motivation for it. And so it's very common, people say it's either a lack of confidence, so it's you have issues basically that you need to fix within yourself, but instead of fixing it from the inside out, people are just fixing the outside. Or the other motivation for enhancement is to be attractive to men and to attract men. And I would say for different people, and I don't know if you can reduce it down to that. Again, I'm not an expert in any way as well, but to be able to reduce it to either or, and I'm going to focus on the being attracted to men. I think men are the ones who usually say that, and I find you guys think that, yeah, women basically we do everything for you, or for the attention, or for the approval of men. And maybe if you reduce it down, like if you have some type of formula and you're going to reduce it, you might be able to bring that into every equation. But honestly, I don't think that's like every woman's motivation. Because, and I mean, maybe you're going to stretch it and say, okay, well, maybe it's for the attraction of whoever they're attracted to, because there are women who are not interested in men who actually do these things too. So, and there are specific cases I'm sure people could bring up and say, okay, people who are kind of at a certain age and are no longer maybe looking for the life partner, they're clearly not doing it necessarily for the approval of, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just, and people have a lifelong image or wherever it was planted from, like if it was in their childhood, their teenage years or their adult years, and they've always wanted to have this certain look. And it may be just they admired something so much and they always, because I remember Dolly Parton,
Right.
hearing her speak, and I didn't watch this movie, but I heard her speak. She was commenting on the film and saying the inspiration for her breast enhancement implants was a woman that walked into her life, and this woman seemed like she just fell out of the sky. She was so different, so unique, so bold, and she left this big impression on her. And she said, I'm going to look like that when I grow up, type of thing. And that was the woman that she actually modeled herself after when she got older. And so there you go. That didn't involve a man. You know what I mean? And I don't think this little child saw this woman interact with men to say, okay, because she looked like that. Now, it could be, I don't know, someone might argue, well, she as a little child saw this woman getting all this attention. She knew that that's how you got it. But I think it was the woman made an impact on her and made her, validated her as the little performer that she was, and she just felt like this woman was special to her, and that's who she modeled herself after. And so there are different reasons. So but I always find it so funny that men always think women are like the motivation. And that's one big thing I got from, and I'm not saying that you're saying that 100%, but you guys, I find a lot of times men say that without even realizing that that's what you guys are saying, actually. And I think from what no, let me finish. I'm just going to finish this thought, and that's what was the loudest thing I heard from Tyrese's post, is that as a man, you're critiquing everything that these women do and talking about, you think we are stupid and you think we don't see it, and you're not going to get a real man looking like this, and any of us who do it is just going to hit and split. And I'm thinking everything he's making the connection to everything that a woman does back to a man. And I think a man like him, because he thinks he's a prize. And I just thought that's what bugged me the most about that post, is that he made it all about himself behind using the word men, like in general. And I'm like, why you don't even matter anymore, because you just got married. You're just out here bragging about getting married now. So who cares what you think? Because you're clearly off the market. Like, so Tyrese, like your opinion is so not valid right now, because nobody can get you, and that's it. So it's almost like, who cares? You know what I mean? And that was my biggest thing. And I bring that to, I would say that to other men who bring that up. Not saying you guys are 100% wrong all the time. But I think it's funny that always seems to be mentioned by men when they're talking about women's motivation.
No, I think what Kinetic was replying to was the women who are in that working industry, that late night working industry, who do it for business, for men to do it for a man because of business wise, right?
Well, then she wouldn't be doing it for a man. She'd be doing it for money.
Right, for money. But like I'm talking,
because I'm sure if a woman was to walk in and stuff $1,000 in her her G-string or whatever, I don't know what they do nowadays. Maybe they take debit, credit, I don't know. But I'm sure if a woman was to do it, she'd be just as happy.
Yeah, but
so it's for the dollar.
But to be real, it's not women who are in those places; it's men who are in there.
And
so yes,
you know that, Nettie? Just joking. See, I wouldn't know.
I've heard.
Yeah, you've heard. But I heard a lot of women frequent those places.
Yeah,
well.
but my point is, I do understand when females do that for confidence, not even for a man or not, just for themselves. Because I've seen it before. Like I've had friends who've gone through the whole process, right? And then basically the women I've seen them before and after, and afterwards they're talking a lot different. Like they've gotten breast implants and stuff like that, and their whole conversation is different. Like they talk different, their mannerisms are different, It's kind of like that the implants gave them a boost. So I'm not saying it for them doing it for a man. It's just doing it for their own confidence. Like they can go into jobs now and feel like are they can feel like they're more presentable for the job, I guess. I'm just assuming, I'm not sure. But the way that she talked, like I can hear it in her voice when she was talking and everything, it was different after she got the surgery done as to before. Before, she was very timid and everything. So after the surgery, she was kind of more bold, if that makes
But
sense.
I kind of chimed in
it's
halfway
crazy
through.
though. Mm-hmm.
I kind of chimed in halfway through. Let's be clear, and let's understand that. You know what? Both men and women, we dress for each other. I don't care. Everybody says all this BS about, oh, I dress for myself. I don't do nothing for anybody. Check this out. Catch somebody in the mall on an off day and see how fast they run, or they want to say goodbye or stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about me? The other day when you
Actually, no.
saw me.
Oh, you know what? Oh,
Are you?
I totally forgot. No, but no. Okay, I totally, honestly,
Yeah,
real
don't
talk,
even go there. That's like
got it. But let's use that example, right? I haven't physically seen you in a while, right?
yeah. Uh-huh.
That to me, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe you saw me. That you were going to a mall, you knew you were going to a mall, right? But as soon as you bought me, right? You were all
Yeah.
glassed up. You had your glass. You look good, but you're just you're not. You were just probably running in because you're running around doing your thing to go to Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
But as it comes down to it, we all dress. Listen, whether you are in a relationship, you want to look good for your mate. Why do you think women go and buy lingerie? To look sexy for their man. Why do you think they go get their nails and their hair did? Of course, it's for your own self as well, for your upkeep. But you like when people look for attention. They like attention. Oh, your hair looks good. Your nails look good. Oh, you know what? Look at those shoes. People come into a culture, this whole like culture, this attention-seeking culture, it's just a reflection of what's happening with these women and men, because there are men getting enhancements done as well.
Yes.
Right? But we're just centering, because based on the narrative of the conversation that Tyrese had said, we're just centering, or at least I'm centering on that aspect. There are women, as I said, that, you know what, we all, both men and women, get dressed for each other, for attraction, for that quote unquote like, that virtual like, whether it's, hey, you look good, Karen, you know what? I like your glasses. You know what? Those shoes are dope. Why do you think we spend hundreds of dollars on Jordans, or you know what, or Gucci, or whatever other brand names out there? Right? So you can't tell me, oh, you know what? You don't like to be complimented. Listen, likes are the biggest drug that has ever hit human beings. That attention seeking, and there's negative and there's positive. When it becomes negative is when it becomes, when you go out there and start over enhancing and going broke because you can't, to buy Gucci, or you know what, paying $10,000 to get breasts, or butt implants and everything else made over. You know what? Other than you were naturally intended to look. You're doing that because you want attention.
Okay, so one big thing. No. And I'm speaking for like on behalf of like just what I've heard and other people I've talked to and stuff like that. And yes, people, we do put ourselves together and we're aware of how we look to others. I'm sure you've heard that, women, we laugh and say women dress more for other women than men. We'll do our makeup and our hair. And I mean, the overall package is nice. It's nice that a man can overall, see you and think overall you look good, because men probably wouldn't really care about how perfect your eyebrows are, or how, how full and lush your lashes are. how perfectly lined your lips are, how you know, blended and used your highlighter perfectly. Like those are little details that
unless they're a
those are
photographer.
details that right, and that in a photographer, and it mattered to your photo. But in general, you probably are not going to notice all those details. You're just going to notice the overall finished package and effect.
Well, that's
And
what men do, though. We just look at the overall and kind of
exactly.
aspect. You know,
So
women,
this is,
but
and
no.
no, but this is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Whereas women now, we know that other women can appreciate the details, and
Y'all ain't appreciating.
other women know the
Y'all ain't
work.
appreciating.
No,
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 Y'all are
no, no,
hating.
listen,
no, no,
listen,
no, 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 no,
listen.
no. Let me
When it
explain.
comes
Let me
down to,
explain.
listen,
No,
I
it
know, I
doesn't.
hear
No, no,
what
no.
you're
Let me
saying,
explain.
and I'm saying it has
Let me
nothing to do
just
with
finish
it.
my
It's
thought. Let
when
me
it
just
comes.
finish. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to show appreciation. You don't have to show you like it. You could be hating and all that, but you know, any woman knows when a woman walks in. You can find whatever else to say. You're going to find one thing to knock her with. You're going to drag some shit she did maybe 10 years ago and try to like bury her with it. But at the end of the day, if a girl looks good, you can't deny that.
But what it
And
comes down to, you guys.
and no. So what I'm trying to, but what I'm here's just to back up the point I was trying to make, to say we understand what went into having that finished look. And so when you really look at it, women, if you're going out, yeah, women are more concerned. Like, women are happy when other women see them and see the finished product and can appreciate it. Men, we know. I think the majority, once you hit a certain age, especially, or you've had the right uh, guidance coming up, and you've had that experienced, mature woman sit you down as a teenager, even, and tell you, listen, you know what men love? Men love when your hair is just up in a ponytail. It's a little messy. You got a little lip gloss on, your natural glow. Maybe you have a little, so you're not sweating, dripping, but you have a little flush to your skin. They love that. They love when they can just look over and say, "Oh my gosh, she looks so cute." They love that. You look cute in some sneakers. If that's his thing, if you can rock a pair of sneakers and your body's clean and healthy looking, and you got like a little pair of shorts, simple t-shirt, like, that's it. So focus on being healthy, looking good, good skin, clear, drink a lot of water. I mean, if you know you learned this at some point, or you experience this and you get that from your guys, and I learned it, but you could still, so we know you guys are very easy. You're basic creatures and you're easy to please.
That ain't true.
No, it is. It
That ain't,
is, honestly.
no, you just made a
But
statement. I'm saying to you, no, it's not. Like, you know,
okay,
some men, you
I'm
know,
telling you from my
yeah,
experience, I think
right.
men are very basic and very easy to please.
Okay, and I'm telling
And
you what it comes down to. When it, and I
you
having
can
said
speak for
everything that you said,
yourself, but I think in
yeah,
general.
and I'm saying, well, I'm a man though. You
Mhm,
cannot tell me about me as a man, right?
mhm,
And that's what I'm trying to say, not to argue or put down what you're saying, because there is some validity to what you're saying. But the
mhm,
reason why I was trying to jump over in that and stop
mhm,
the flow is very simple. Is that women, is you, as you said, okay, to reiterate your point, you said women want to know. I mean, want other women to know. They dress for other women. They do outdo to other women. And what it comes down to is exactly that. It's not about. It's about, at the end of the day, it's about men. But here my full point. It's about the opposite sex, because what happens is women are catty and competitive as hell, especially when they're single. Versus
and
when
I'm
they
glad you said
have
that,
a
because
man. Yeah, especially versus when they have a man, then they want to say, "Yo, you know what? You can't take my man." So it's a twofold. What it comes down to is that women dress for other women to outdo other women, not for their approval. They don't want another girl to say, "Hey, I look, you know what? You look good," or whatever it is. What it is, they say, "I look better than you. You can't get that man that I'm getting, or I'm getting." If I walk in the room, I'm the baddest woman in the room.
I disagree with you.
So,
I think, and no, I'm saying I
you
disagree
know,
because that doesn't apply
yeah.
to every woman and every women in general.
No,
I think
and
it does
I was
apply
about to
to
get. I
some
was. You know
people.
what? I was about to get into that
No, mm-mm.
aspect.
No,
Hold
no, because
on.
you're
Hold
saying
on.
no,
Hold
no,
on.
no. You're saying it.
Hold on. You know what?
Women
Hold
do this.
on. Hold on.
You're
Karen,
making a
hold on.
very general
See,
statement.
I'm saying. See, hold on. Hold on. Stop.
Hmm.
Hear my point now, right? What it comes down to is we're talking about the kind of women that would get augmentation, get their stuff done on a general level. But the natural queens that walk with a fro, or you know what, or walk with their hair straight, or whatever it is. We're talking about women that will go out doing get augmentation, get their eyebrows done, get their nails done, get everything done. That's the kind of, remember, it's in the vein of the conversation. That's what I'm talking about, of what Tyrese had said.
Hmm.
Natural queens. That's not a part of this conversation because they have confidence. They're confident.
No,
Who they are.
I don't buy that either. I don't think every
Sure.
woman who's natural and hasn't made any change to her body and hasn't straightened her. I don't think everyone walks around confident
What
and
is
loving
confidence?
and loving to every other woman and never has the fear
I'm not
of.
saying no.
Are
They
you
have
kidding?
confidence. No, that they. What I'm
Nah,
trying to say is, if they're
that doesn't apply
or
to
them,
every natural woman either.
they're confident or more confident.
No,
And
not
start
buying
talking
it.
down to what is confidence? You think
Not
about it.
buying it.
What is confidence? If you can walk out your house and just say, you know what, screw it. Yeah, you know what, whoever sees me sees me.
Yeah.
It's not about, you know what, oh, my hair's not did, my nails ain't did, you know what, hair did, nails did, everything did. It's not about that. It's real confidence to be able to walk out and say, yeah, you know what, yeah, I'm going to go to a basketball game with my hair jacked out, and you know what I mean, and the whole 20,000 people I might be seen on TV. That's real confidence.
I don't think that's confidence. I don't think that's confidence either.
Well,
I
well,
personally don't think that's confidence either. I think
well, all
I
right.
think when
Then
you
be the deal breaker, be the tiebreaker here. What do you think? Define your idea of what confidence is.
you know what? First of all, I think confidence is something that people I think how do I say it? It's not a oh God, what's the word? It's oh my goodness, where's my words tonight? It's not a constant state. I don't think every single human being on the planet, um, I don't think any human being on the planet gets up. And I don't care if you found your confident at a certain age. I don't care if you found it through you've experienced things and you've built strength and you know yourself and I don't think any human being can walk uh, like every day, all day for their whole life saying, I'm a confident person and feel a certain and 100% confidence constant. I don't think it's a constant feeling or a constant, I don't know the proper word for it. I
Not
think people
if you've
experience
found
it. I
yourself.
think people, no. And I think the most confident people and this is why it's hard for me to describe that because I wouldn't put that on a person. Just like I think there are people that go through moments of you can be very confident in your work and no one can tell you nothing about what you do. You lay it down, you do whatever you do, you calculate, you've never messed up, or even if you have, you've owned it, and that's built your confidence because you came out better on the other side and blah blah blah. And then that same person put them in the scenario to socialize with people and maybe that's not really their strength, and then put them in a relationship, they're a little awkward, they've had bad time, they've been cheated on, and the most so-called most confident people have had their confidence shaken or ruined temporarily because they went through something. And especially the so-called most confident people who don't expect blow and don't expect anybody to say anything bad and don't expect any man or woman to cheat on them because I am who I am and they get it. I think those people actually drop lower, and I think their confidence is rocked even harder than a person that's kind of built up their confidence and know that, you know what, it wavers. And or let me tell you the big one. You could be a master of everything. If you're a parent, you are going to question your parenting skills at least once a year. And if your confidence isn't it rocked, by the outcome of something that your child did or said or didn't do, and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? How did I mess up? Where did I go wrong? You're gonna. So I think to think, I think that's a superhero. I think there's this fake cost. I think there's a costume you can put on and see on your chest for confident, but it comes off at times, and sometimes you don't deserve to wear it, like in a way, because you're not feeling that, and it's not a bad thing. And I think anybody that can truly say they walk through the world confident every day, day in, day out, 365, I stay away from those people, because I think you're crazy. I think you're just you're to me, you are to me the equal of the person that lives in a constant state of depression, who's constantly down, who's constantly questioning themselves, who never find any strength and value in anything they do or say. They're always looking for validation. They won't attempt anything because they're afraid they're never going to get it right. I will stay away from those people either. I don't need those people. But the person on the other side who you can't question anything they say, or you can't question anything. What? And they look at you like you're crazy. I'm like, okay, you're just a little too, like, you are not human to me. You're not normal. I think, and so I think somewhere in the middle there, and I think we have moments of it, and I think people who have, yeah, there's a lot of that, like a narcissist, and listen, that goes back to Tyrese, and I think ego, and I think anybody who can take this position and has a public following and forum, and can use that to voice their little opinion about fake lashes and implants and all this stuff and what women do to their bodies, and feel like they are like they have this right to put it out there and say, because I feel this, I'm going to say this, and you're wrong, and I'm going to show you who you are and who you're not, and what you can be and what you can't be because you've put some implants in. I'm like, who the hell are you, Tyrese? Like, and this is, and I naturally, I'm a human being. I see people, and there's things that I just look, I'm like, oh my God, that looks ridiculous. I'll tell you the honest truth, and I'm going to use a real life, well, not real life, but a person, a figure. So Cardi B comes out. And I remember seeing her on the show, the reality show that she's on. And I remember seeing her implants that were an example of the implants that I personally think are horrible. Like when you can fit, and Tyrese made mention of this, you could put your whole hand in between their breasts or whatever. It just looks weird. It looks like two balls. And I just think that's just, ugh, and that's horrible. Now, if I was to stop there and come and sum this girl up, and say, because she has horrible, in my opinion, horrible implants, why is she even on TV? And she'll never make it. And she'll never have a man that is going to take her serious because she has these horrible implants. And I'm going to sum her up and write her off, and that's it. Like, that's basically what a lot of people do when they see people and they see something on them that they don't like. Horrible painted on eyebrows, or long ass nails, and you question how people wipe their ass with them and everything like that. I don't know. And people come to these grand conclusions about people based on something on the exterior. And I bring up Cardi B because I watched her, and then this girl made me laugh. I watched other things about her. I don't totally agree, but I'm like, you kind of make a little sense. And then I watch how she talks about her upbringing and her mom was strict, and she was forced to be about her books and everything. And then I'm like, this girl has some little values to her, though, for real. And then she talks about her hustle, and then she did the stripping thing, which I'm like, okay, you got to really, you can't sell me on that one. But she owned it. She said, she saw people trying to get in and aspire to be, and she was like, yo, I'm trying to get out of this, and I'm trying to go bigger. And then I saw things about her that I kind of admired as a person. Now, I don't know her, obviously, but I said, look at that. And then I could go back to my very first image of her, where I thought she was just like, who is this? And what she was saying too. And I thought, ooh. But then now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, and I've never met the girl still, but I'm like, I think she's kind of cool. I think she has some good things that she could probably share. And if she had a child, I can't see her pushing implants in her child and pushing her child on the pole. I could see her actually pushing her child in a positive direction and probably using the money she's made and the mistakes she's made to raise a child that's half, that's probably going to be on the right direction. So I think sometimes, and then it makes me question the people who sit there and question and critique people who do these things. Who has the real problem? The people that have done it, or the people that sit and critique these people? Like, who has the bigger issue? Who has the bigger confidence issue? Like the ones that are just doing their thing and making their decisions and doing it, even though I'm not I don't agree with that. Like, I don't even have one tattoo on my body. I'm not big on putting things and doing things and
You
changing
don't have
things.
any tattoos, girl? What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Waiting for the thing that I'd like to stamp on my body for the rest of my life, and to that, nothing.
Mama's signature.
That thing has not hit me yet. Nah, that thing has not hit me yet. Yeah. So I just think, so it blows my mind when people like this post that Tyrese put, and then going as far to say you're not going to have a man because you've done these things, and the only man that's going to want you is the one that will hit it.
I agree with
So
that.
here's my question. You agree with that? So let me ask you. Here's the question.
Wow.
Go ahead.
You're not gonna have a real man. You're gonna have a person that looks at you as a trophy piece and as eye candy and attention extension of self. When you start doing all that excessive augmentation, you're not gonna get a man. You're gonna. And that's all I'm talking from my opinion. Well, you're definitely not going to get this kind of man.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's fair. And don't even say this kind of man. Just say you're not going to get that man, and say that then.
No, me. I know, but I'm saying.
But I think there's some. I think there are some intelligent, good men out there that have women that look like dolls because of surgery.
Tell me one.
I don't know them by name, but you even have surgeons. You even have plastic surgeons that enhance their own wives, and these are doctors who are making good money, and they're actually good in their life, and they're living well, and their wives have a little here and a little there, a little tuck, a little, and they're good and they're happy because that's what makes them happy. And just like people, everybody to each his own. Me, I personally would never be with a man. I would never be with a man that's covered with tattoos.
Show me an example.
Okay, you know what? I don't have one right now, but I swear by the end of the week, I will show you at least 3. I will show you images of at least 3 so-called good men. I don't know what your definition of good men are, but I'm thinking if he's somewhat mentally stable, has a decent income, puts himself together well, and is doing well by society's standards, without breaking the laws like outright. I think that's what they mean by having a decent man that will actually wife a woman that has implants and maybe some other adjustments. Yeah, I've seen it. And guess what? I mean, whether it's hair extensions, eyelash extensions, implants, yeah, like some people don't see that as extreme. I mean, there's men that have that they buy a car and they keep it very simple, clean. There's other ones, my God, you can't even see what kind of car is it underneath the rims and the behind the tints and the and all the other addition. And to me, that might be tacky. Another person, that's like a prize. They get it. That's their world. That's their thing. So I might think you just put like $200,000 into a car. I think that's extreme, but to someone else, that's, I could do it. I can afford it. This is my life. This is my lane. Like, so I just think, and then going back to, anyway, here's my question to both of you. And it was based on things that you guys said. What if you met, because you guys both said along the same lines, it's okay to adjust something or fix something that was maybe put out of line by, I don't know, maybe childbirth or after weight loss or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Or after an accident or something like that. So what if you met a woman, really liked her, thought, she was a great person, great personality. She looked good. She looked natural, looked great. And then, you start dating and you're really into her, and then you find out she's had some work done, and she shows you pictures of her old self, and you wouldn't have known this because her work was that good, and it was very subtle. So it wasn't over the top. It wasn't, she didn't go, to like triple D's and all this stuff. She just did a subtle enhancement here, subtle thing here, maybe did her nose a little, did something to her eyes. But when you saw the before picture, she was still kind of cute, but just different. You're like, wow. But you wouldn't have known that unless she shared that with you. Would that change your opinion of her once you found out that she did that?
No, actually, I'm going to tell you from personal experience, I've dated a girl that got her nose did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I encouraged her to get her nose done. Because as I said to you, enhancement.
Was it broken?
No, actually, what happened was she had a bump on her nose. You know what I mean? And it was just one of those things is that it was inherited, or it's inherited. Her dad, had this nose, and it's thing, and it was just a shaving to straighten out the side of it, because it was one of those things is that not to say that she looked bad, because she was pretty as hell, but when she it's just one of those things where it's like, it always bothered her. I was like, well, if it bothers you so much, then you know what? If you're not changing your nose, you're just shaving it, then cool. If you're shaving down the bump, again,
but she was changing.
It's not about difference. It was just an enhancement. It wasn't changing the nose. You have a certain nose and it looks totally different. Because remember, your nose is changing. When you change your nose, you change your face. The bone versus replacing her whole nose as a different nose, like what Michael Jackson did.
Okay, we're not going to talk Michael Jackson in this, because that's all the way.
Well, no. That's why I said there are men that do this too. Case in point. But the point is that Michael Jackson changed his nose. He didn't enhance his nose. He changed it. Whereas, as I said to her, this girl, it was something that bothered her whole life. I said, well, if you're going to, I said, as long as you're not going to change your nose, you want to shave off the little bump on your nose, like then go do it. Go for it.
But see, I think it boils down to the same thing, her confidence. So she wasn't as confident with what she was born with, who she was, and something that she got from her father.
On the contrary, it wasn't that she wasn't confident. It was quite opposite. You know what? And if she's listening, she's going to kill me. But I've told her this before. It doesn't matter. What it comes down to, she was vain as hell. All right. This girl, she had too much confidence. And at the end of the day, what it came down to is that she, it was like her Achilles heel. For her to be perfect, it was just the bump. It's like, and I always I'd always used to tease her and say stuff like, you know what, quote unquote, and then please don't get into the religious aspect, but it was just a joke, as if God couldn't make you perfect, so he had to give you that bump, just to tease her, because she was, listen, the girl's pretty like money, okay?
Money's not pretty to me.
Real talk. Well, pretty to me. You go find $100 bill on the ground, see if your face will light up. Yeah. Anyways, case and done point. But as I say, she pretty like money. At the end of the day, it was like, and I used to say, man, once you get that done, it's over. Nobody's gonna even be able to talk to you much more. Queen of England. So it wasn't about her not having confidence. She had confidence. It was her vanity.
So let me ask you. So, but that doesn't act. So now, where does confidence then? How does it change for someone who maybe wants to do, like, how do you how do you determine someone's confidence level based on how much work they're going to do? Because what if to them, that's just that little thing that they want to do, which maybe is going to take a little more work, but everything else on them they feel is perfect. but they just want a
But
lot
that's what it
larger,
is. But you just answered the
a
question.
larger bump. What?
You just answered the question though.
No,
It's how
explain it.
much.
I don't.
What is this? It's simple.
Mhm.
When they start changing everything about themselves, it starts with the nose, then it gets to eyes, then then chin tuck, and then tummy tuck, then breast implants, and butt implants, and then you know what? Oh, my toe. I need 6 toes,
Okay, but
not
Liar.
5.
what it is, it's an addiction, right?
Like
So
tattoos.
like tattoos, the same thing. Once somebody's starting to get to that stage, and they're doing that much stuff, it's not that they I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I think it's just an addiction thing. You can be addicted to a lot of different things. This is one of them, right? Augmenting the body, because every time you do something, you look for something else that can be changed, and then you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going and going. You get what I mean?
But I think those are rare cases you guys are talking about. And other things that Tyrese mentioned are things that can be changed in an instant. Here, talking about clip-in hair, eyelashes, which actually a lot of women, some women put them on. Sorry?
Those are enhancements. Those are not. That's not augmentation. Listen. When it comes
But
down to
no. Put it this. Okay,
if
so let me
doing,
ask you the question about the person. Right.
Yeah.
The person
If
that
you can't
puts in
live without it,
the person that puts in, what do you call them? Colored contact lenses. And they've been rocking the same color contact lenses for the last 20 years. And you couldn't tell them that's not their natural eye color. And
Right.
is that, do they have an issue? Like if they're going from,
put it this way: if it's a black woman with blue eyes and she's trying to pull it off like it's her own blue eyes,
Or
Yeah.
blonde,
naturally
blonde
her
hair.
own blue eyes,
yeah,
then she has a problem with her blackness. If it's a woman that puts in like if it has somebody that if it's just like you know what, yeah, I'm just doing it for a change, for a trend or thing, but yeah, it's fake. That's not a problem. But when they start posing it off to be everything other than what they are naturally, which was the top of what I started, when it becomes what's it called again? Not an augmentation, but a enhancement. Like clip-ons. If you're going to a ball, no problem. If you're going to the corner store and you can't walk outside your door without putting your clip-ons and your eyelashes and this, that's a problem.
But hold on a second. There's tons and tons of women who will not leave their house without makeup.
Right.
I think that's
Confidence.
the same thing.
Problem. If you cannot, if it prevents you from doing something, 100% that's confidence.
But when is it not a confidence thing, and when is it just a choice? Like, you know what? I choose to wear this hair. I choose to put makeup on every day because that's what makes me feel like I feel polished. I feel complete. I feel like a man when he puts on a suit. I feel, because men
move out your house without it. It's that simple. When you can't leave your house or it prevents you from doing something before you do it, that is when it becomes a confidence versus choice problem.
But no, everybody can. Like, I mean, if there was an emergency. If you had an emergency, you had a child, a baby, okay, and your baby is there choking to death, and it's a matter of running out to save your baby's life, or your house is on fire, or you had to run out of and save your life, or do your makeup first and risk dying. Okay, then those are the people that can't. But if you get up and you work for your money and you buy your makeup, and you get up an hour and a half before you have to leave because you give yourself that extra half hour to do your makeup, and that's a choice. Like, that's the thing that makes you feel polished and finished.
I'm gonna go right back to you. When I saw you in the mall, were you made up? Did you have your makeup on? You had glasses on? You know what I mean? And
no, I wasn't wearing makeup. I wasn't wearing makeup.
So you still left your house, huh?
Yeah. I left my house, but I'm also a person. But I'm also a person that if I was going into a social setting, or when I like getting up and going to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, every day before going to work, makeup is done. If I'm going to a park, makeup is done. If I'm going to a family, if I'm going to a small family gathering, 9 times out of 10, makeup is done, because that's just a natural, that's kind of my natural, because that's what I do. Now, could I leave my home without? Yes. Have I done it? Yes. Let me tell you one thing about me. No. But some people have looked at me because I will get up. Okay, put it this way. So that's your definition, and that's where you draw the line. And you're saying, okay, you're still in the normal people category because you could still leave your house and still go to the mall without makeup on, even though you have those big old sunglasses hiding something, right? But other people have turned around and said, wow, you get up every day and do your makeup before work. Like, who? I could never. And there's some women that only wear makeup for a special occasion. They only wear makeup for a big deal. They only do their hair for a special occasion. But 9 times out of 10, you see them, their hair is pulled back and tucked and no makeup. And then somehow people think that they are more confident people.
No,
because,
but Kirsty,
and to be honest, no.
You missed what I said.
No, I'm not even saying. I'm not even now. No. I'm not even. I'm now bringing this to a more general talk, because I find that people make that mistake, or that they come to that judgment that the woman that can pull her hair back and wear no makeup and maybe wear flat shoes and just look, she is somehow more confident than the woman that gets up, does her hair, does her makeup, and somehow this woman is lacking confidence and she needs the makeup, and she wants it.
No,
and it's a funny thing when I've done makeup and I've sat with.
What I said then.
No, I'm not, because I'm not. It's not totally about what you said. I'm saying in general. And I have been on the receiving end of that, where people have even called me vain because I choose to do that.
The difference of what I was trying to say is when it prevents you. Remember, the operative phrase is when it prevents you from doing it.
Yeah, it's prevent. My hair has prevented me from going into many pools. Yes, it has. In a many body of water. Yes, it has. My hair has prevented me from jumping in and doing some stupid things in water sometimes. Yes, it has. Because not so much that I don't want to do it. It's just that I know that tomorrow I have to be somewhere with my hair and I don't have the time to wash and do all that good stuff.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, you know what? You have to do your makeup in order to leave your house. We're talking about the extreme, not like.
Yes, I did that when I. Yes, I did.
You got your hair, you can't go swimming because you got an interview tomorrow. We're not talking about that prevention.
No. It's not even like that. Like I will give up a whole month of swimming because I'm just not into that.
Because you spend good money here, but that's not.
But that's a choice, because if I wanted to do something bad, exactly I would do it.
Nettie, you know what I'm saying, right?
I know what both of you guys are saying. It's so funny to hear you guys going back and forth with it. I know exactly what you guys are both saying. It's kind of funny. I'm just sitting back here and listening. Well, go ahead.
And I hear what Kinet's saying. Kinetic, you're not. Your point is not being missed, and your point is not falling on deaf ears. I hear what you're saying, and I've been hearing similar things for like many, many, many years, like where people come to conclusions about people because they couldn't do that. There are people that are like, oh, I couldn't give up an hour of my sleep to get up and do all that stuff in the morning. So for you to do it, that's an extreme thing. Therefore, you must be extremely low in confidence that you need to do that to get up and do it, because I wouldn't do it. And so I think we judge things, or we come to conclusions based on our own value system and our own judgment of what's necessary and what's not. Whereas, there are people that get up an hour and a half earlier to work out.
That's me.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, Dad, I could never I'm not getting up like 2 hours early to get a workout and everything. But I'm sure I always look and I'm like, man, I'm sure that they're healthier. They feel better. It gives you that boost. Like everything's circulating better, you have a good meal. People who get up, I'm not a breakfast person, but people who get up and take time to fix their breakfast and see the importance of their meal. And there are people that their lives are centered around their meals, their meal planning, their meal prepping, their meal eating, their meal, and that's all they do. And I'm like, good Lord, you have nothing better, you have nothing else to do than focus on the food. And I think it's so extreme to me, but it's not. It's their choice. It's important. So I just think it's like it comes from where you are in life, and I find it funny, especially when men talk about women and what women do, and then you flip it, and I'm telling you, a lot of men. One comment I saw to this whole Tyrese thing is they said, um, supply and demand kind of thing, and women do things out of what gets approval and gets attention. That was one of the comments. And so if there's so many people doing these things, so many people caring about their look, and then people are going to turn around and say and try to downplay it, it kind of makes no sense. Like, there has to be a reason why a lot of these women are enhancing them, even for work, for professional. So if you're going to go into a job where you use your body and you got to be competitive to make that money, and that's what you got to do, then obviously the majority of clients that are coming in are leaning toward people who look like that. So
Well, even sorry to cut you there, just to add into that, there was a friend of mine, a female friend, who was working at a business office place, like a straight up like Wall Street type of business place, and she told me that they had promotions every 6 months. And every time when it came around to promotions and stuff like that, the girls who were getting promoted and moving up and stuff like that were the ones who had jobs done, like breast implants and hair, whatever. And, you know, they had their nails, and they were like Barbie doll looking girls. And she was like, you know what? I think to fit in, I'm going to have to do this, right? Because she didn't understand, like, every single solitary time she was overqualified. She was well qualified for promotion, to be promoted up to these positions and stuff like that. But the girls who got promoted up were ditzy, but, you know, not really knowing much, but they were augmented. They were like eye candy. So in terms of like being in the forefront of the business, like to represent the business, going out there and saying, this is the manager of so and so, you know, promoted to whatever, it was breast implants and whatever else and stuff like that. So they're going out in the community and representing the company and promoted. So the girls who weren't looking like that didn't get promoted, right?
that's crazy.
Yeah, and if and going back to a little bit further back to augmenting yourself, you know, doing stuff for confidence. I can't remember who the singer is. There was a group, or there was this singer, this house singer. I can't remember what the song is. I have to ask Skimpy Boy, but they had a group representing her. She was one who sang the song, but when it came to performances and in public and for videos and stuff like that, they never had her on her own video of her own song. So it was somebody else being the
I
forefront
think I remember that. This is
for
older, right? This is like
it,
90s or something.
yeah, I can't remember what the house song is, but she got paid to do the song, and that was it. The
I think it was like
video,
a dark-skinned slim girl with
uh,
breasts that was singing. that set,
something
that
that
was put in.
pretended, yeah, that was subbed in to fill in for her position. So it's kind of like, it's not some people, it's not just augmenting themselves um for men or for whatever else, but and not even for self-confidence. It's just because the industry calls for it.
I think that's crazy though. And I kind of question that as well, because I think to give into that way of thinking and to say that, well, that must be the reason,
Yeah.
I kind of question that too. I'm like, are you sure? Maybe you need to put a little more work in. Maybe it's a personality thing. As you were saying, you saw the personality switch by the other person
Yes.
who had done the work. I'll tell you something as simple as makeup is. I when I used to do makeup and worked with different women, and the difference just having their makeup done and covering up little marks that they had, dark marks, and bringing out their lips a little and showing them, okay, this is how you apply things. A lot of women never bothered to really play with makeup, never learn, and so they don't really know. And so a lot of times they'll look at other women who do it and know it and say, oh, I could never, and all that, because they don't know. And
Right.
once they learn how to do makeup on their own face, the way they want to look, and they get it, all of a sudden they embrace it and they'll use it. They'll buy the products, they'll start using it. And again, they feel a little more confident facing people now, because now they're not thinking, oh my gosh, is someone looking at all these marks on my face or whatever. And now what they look like is taken out of the mix, or feeling, insecure about what they look like is taken out of the mix. And now they can just focus and think, okay, this person's looking at me now, and and they're actually hearing me, they're seeing me. You know what I mean? And sometimes people, you have to look at yourself and be real and say, okay, is maybe, yeah, I need to do something with my hair. And it's not vanity, it's not being vain, it's just saying, making yourself feel good, and that affects how you face the world. And I see
It's
nothing wrong.
true.
I see nothing wrong with that. And I think a lot of people, if people were to tell people that, they were like, oh my gosh, poor thing, you had issue. You know what I mean? But it's not so deep. It's just, sometimes it is. You just need that little polishing. It's almost like you walk into a place, you look down and you see your shoes are dirty. You're like, oh my gosh, I need to go wipe my shoes off before I walk into this interview or something. Because if you walk into an interview and your shoes are dirty, the person's probably going to come say, man, this person doesn't take care of themselves. And that's not the truth. You know what I mean? But it just happened on your way in. So you're like, I just need to wipe my shoes off. And that could make or break it. And I think to do that permanently on your body somehow, I don't know. I don't know if we could go too deep into it and say, okay, it's not, it's like you have some issues. It's just, you just know the game, and you know the world we're in, and you just want to put your best body forward, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Connecticut's back.
So I do agree with some of it, right? Because even on a personal level, if I like,
Yeah, I was gonna get to that with this whole workout thing you do. Mm-hmm.
okay, not even the working out. I was just talking like haircuts. Like
I thought of that earlier too, both you guys, but then that's just maintaining what's already there, blah, blah, blah. It's not enhancing.
man, like me, like if I, after I leave the barber and I have a nice haircut, man, my game is on point. I'm talking to every girl, single or not. I'm like, yo, baby, come over here, and I'm like, it's just like I'm boosted.
Nettie, don't say that, yo, baby. Don't tell me to say that.
No, I don't say that.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like when my haircut is on point and I'm stepping out, I don't care if I'm in jogging pants or whatever, man. I feel confident, and I'm stepping to people. I'm like, yo, what's going on? And it's like you can feel it because it empowers me. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do understand it from that point of view for females doing that.
Connect, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. No, because you just cut out for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm having some technical issues, so I've been popping in.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap up soon anyway. But no. So you were saying no, based on what Nettie just said. I don't know if you feel the same way. Is there anything you do to yourself? Yeah, or anything you do to yourself, like facials, haircut? I don't know, anything. Manis, petties.
I don't. Yeah, like I mean, if it's confidence space, like it's like again, and it just makes you feel good. Like I I I've had facials done. I do pedicures, I do manicures, and I do upkeep.
Mm.
It's not changing anything, and that's where I guess where my line is drawn is that when you start changing stuff, not enhancing and keeping like haircuts, I think that's just maintenance. That's just showing up for yourself. Even if you work out, you know, it's working out to enhance naturally, planting unnatural stuff to augment or change what you have naturally. And that's where my line is crossed, like where I guess the line gets crossed for me is like when you start changing things and start implanting things or cutting things off instead of working for it. That's, as Nettie said it, as quote unquote God intended. It's not the natural way for you. You don't just enhance what you got. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to people are going to do what you're going to do. Mouth is meant to say anything. If you have a mouth, trust me, it's going to be said. Whether it's mentally or physically, through your mouth, you're saying something. Everybody judges, everybody says stuff. And, so at the end of the day, if you're comfortable with doing it, it's totally your choice until you have your man who you may not have that choice anymore. Or you have your woman that, or you have your woman, as I said, it's just one of those things where it's just like, you know what, your woman doesn't like a beard, but you want a beard. Well, she might leave you because, and you're just enhancing what you have.
Beards are nasty. No.
Yeah, right. But that's what I'm trying to say, right?
Oh Lord.
At the end of the day, and that's your
no, that's not my take. I don't think beards can be nasty.
You're
heard
about
about
man.
beards?
Listen,
yeah. Beards are nasty if it's on a female. How about that?
Yeah.
No, beards are nasty on men that go down.
What?
Oh, brother.
Because haven't you heard that when they tested beards, they tested a bunch of beards of men that go down regularly, and they found
went from left to right.
No, they find like feces in their beard, and some of them don't really cleanse properly after or right after.
Kersey, you went to that, eh?
No, I'm telling you. So sometimes it's not even about looks, it's just about maintenance, and it's just, and seriously, this is a real study, and there are men that go down and then they may not go shower, bathe, or clean their beard right after, and they have fecal matter in their beard. I saw that on the news somewhere, or somewhere on TV. They had a report, and that men with beards need to disinfect, basically. I thought, I don't deal with men with beards like that. Them big old tree-looking stuff coming out your. That's not. Especially when I heard that. Ugh. Anyway, I just think Tyrese, yeah. No, I'm just saying for me, because there are some women that won't even look at you unless you got like a full friggin' lawn on your head. I don't know. There's some women that it's a requirement. There's one girl I follow on Instagram. She's like, the bigger the better. I'm just, oh, okay. Like everybody. No, I'm saying everybody has their thing, but I am speaking from it's a scientific medical research kind of standpoint with the beard thing.
You got from left to right with that one. Can't
sign
down that one.
But here, going back to what we're talking about, I just think. What the heck are you saying, Tyrese? Why do you keep saying that? But Tyrese, honestly, let me just directly about and to Tyrese. Tyrese annoys me. I follow Tyrese. He's psychotic. Like, I think he comes off as a little crazy. And someone pointed out to me that he probably put this post out because he not so long ago posted, it came out that he just got married.
To a white woman. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if she's white. I mean, I've heard
She looks mixed
reports.
though. She looks mixed to me. Yeah.
She has whatever. Whether she's white, mixed, whatever, if that's who he wants to be with, that's his
Who cares?
choice.
Yeah.
More power to you. You're happy. You love her for who she is on the inside and all that good stuff. That's great. I have no judgment, no care in the world about who he's with. I used to think Tyrese was so fine until I would
You
see him
heard
on
him
his
speak.
no, until he just kept going and speaking and then he just seemed crazy to me and he just seemed so full of himself and then I follow him on Instagram and he'd be on and I personally don't like men that lick their lips every like 10 seconds. I'm just like, it's gross to me. Like there's just something about the mouth when you're constantly and he's not doing that sexy lick. He's like constantly, I don't know, cleaning his lip with his tongue. It's just so unattractive to me. And then what really scared me is sometimes I would see some of his posts and he's almost like in the middle of the night, odd hours, like telling you, like directing you, insisting that you go click the link in his thing and follow and watch his new video. And he was like demanding. I'm like, no, this man lost his friggin' mind. Like he doesn't know how to
He's a borderline narcissist now.
Oh no, he's straight up. I
Mhm.
think you're right. I think he's all the way. And now I'm thinking you just got married. You should be happy and kick back a little and maybe not, be so present online maybe and not be business about other women and what other women are doing because you have a beautiful woman there that you just, committed to for life and focus on her and all her naturalness and like why do you care about any other woman and what they're doing to make themselves happy. If you're happy, and that's what I always question, like people who are truly happy with their lives and truly happy, whether they're single or not or whatever, don't really have much time to sit and talk about other people and what's wrong with other people. So Tyrese, I don't know. And but no, someone pointed out to me earlier that he probably put this post out
To
because
me,
he's probably been getting a lot of hate or people judging him about the woman he chose and saying she's white and look at the type of woman. And then because when you look at what he knocked, the nose, the nostrils being so straight, the hair, um, the body, all like, and I'm just like, okay, you seem to be directing this to a certain type of woman. Um, and I just think it's weak. It just shows to me, it just came off like, Tyrese, you just look weak. You just look weak and like you look like you have issues more than the people that are out there like cutting their bodies up to look a certain way. I think people like him look worse. So that's my take on Tyrese and his whole rant. I just think he came off looking crazy. And I think he actually removed the post.
Oh, for real?
And no, Tyrese, women are not thinking we're fooling you all because a lot of women actually, newsflash, who put lashes on and some who wear wigs and other body parts, they're quite open about it. They're quite open about it to their man or men that they talk to. Some of them are proud of it. Some of them are actually proud of the fact that, you know what, this is something I've wanted to do and I've done it and I'm happy with it. And now my clothes fit the way I want them to fit. I've seen women who've reduced their breasts and maybe did a little lift because they're at a certain age and having children and changes your body. And now they're like, I love it. Like I can wear a lighter bra. And now I can wear clothes, that I can wear without a bra or I can wear without having one of those extra large bra. And men don't understand those struggles. And so a lot of it is about what you're able to wear and how you're able to move and how you feel about yourself. And I don't know. My personal thing is anybody that's seen me, I don't have the largest breasts, right? But I was always okay. I was always cool with it until it was many years ago. We were young and we were all in the room and a couple of my girlfriends were talking about breasts and everything. And I was just like, you guys are crazy and what? And then one of my friends said, well, you should be thinking about it too, because you're not proportionate. Like your breasts are not proportionate to the bottom part of you. And I was like, really?
Someone said it to you?
Yes, she did, right? And then
Oh,
all of them just
wow.
looked, and I was like, "Oh my God, really, guys?" And then I looked in the mirror, and then I remember just everybody laughed because I was like, "Really?" Like, and no one said nah, or no one like everyone sat there like kind of like agreeing. I was like, and that's when
They
I looked
agreed?
at no, kind of. I mean, silence, right? And so I
And
looked in the mirror
silence.
for the first time, looking and saying, "Wow, maybe you're right. Maybe I do need bigger breasts because the bottom part of me was a little bigger." So I thought, oh, but I had never seen it like that before. A female pointed out to me, and I never had issues with men. Well, I didn't have many men at that point, but I didn't have any issues with attracting. But attracting men and men stepping to, I never had an issue. It was a female, and this
Because
is why
we don't care. We don't care.
I
That's why.
care as long as, like a lot of men say, as long as it's a handful. Some reduce it to a mouthful. I'm like, ew, and I don't know, and so that's when it was first brought to my. But still, I'm just like don't. I was never moved enough to do anything because I was like, no, it's nothing. A bra, a little padding can't enhance. And I've been good. I've been good, and I've had a child. I've breastfed, and people, oh no, don't breastfeed because you're gonna ruin. You're gonna. No, didn't. And I mean, I was lucky enough. Like I have a child. I don't have stretch marks, but I just now realized that it's probably hereditary because my mother has had a few children, and for the first time last year, I looked at her. I was like, Mama, you have no stress. And she's like, oh no. And she was so proud of it. And she was like, no, not one. And she was just like showing me her stomach. And I was like, yeah. So it's probably they said
Her,
for some
her,
people
her stomach was probably
it's
flatter than
hereditary.
yours.
Not quite, but but she looked cute though. She looked cute, but she had no stretch marks. And I was like, and you've had a few kids. So I was just like, good for you. And she was proud of, not proud, but she was just like, yeah. And I was just like, okay, maybe that's where I got it from. But and on the other flip side, like as someone who did their makeup, and let me tell you, a couple of times I've gone out to parties and forgot to put my mascara, and it's almost like I didn't want to look anybody in the eyes because I did not feel complete. I didn't feel good. Like mascara goes on lashes, guys, and
Yeah.
it just completed the eye look, and I felt half naked. Like I felt like, oh my gosh, and I hated it. And my friends would hear me saying, oh my God, or if I forgot my lipstick, you just don't feel complete. Mind you, I would be with my guy though, and one thing, I don't sleep with makeup on my face. I never did.
You
I
wipe
never
it off
have.
with the
The
pillow.
only time, no, the only time, you're so silly. The only time I ever is if I was too drunk to remember to wash it off, or you know what I mean? But as soon as I was up, that's first thing, like shower, wash my face. Because yeah, so any man I've been with has seen me without makeup.
I
And
have to
and that happens very quick, and that happens very early in the process because I'm like, this is it. And yeah.
I have to interject.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Kinetic, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Kersey in the third person right now. So she basically,
You know, you don't have no
from
filter. You don't know when to talk and when not to talk. So I don't know about this. I may just have to mute your damn mic.
what?
Sometimes you don't know what to say or or what not to say. So go ahead.
Kersey, way back in the days, I could never photograph her. Does it matter?
Yep.
Is that true?
That's not 100% because I have a picture
It's
of you
not
trying to
100%
be
true.
when you were trying to be a photographer before you got big and stuff, and we were at some park or something. You took pictures of me. I found one of those the other day.
Which one? When it was film? When I developed them
Yo, don't
way
age
back?
me. Just go ahead. Like whatever. No.
So it was almost like an impossible thing to photograph Kersey because every single solitary picture I took, she hated it.
Yep.
No
I'm
matter
not
what.
photogenic. I'm just not a photogenic person.
Yeah, but that's
Vanity.
what's that? What's that?
I said vanity.
Yeah, it's when somebody tells me that they're not photogenic, are you saying that as a confidence thing in yourself, or are you telling me that from a photographer's eye? Because a photographer can tell you if you're photogenic or not.
I'm telling you I look at the photo and I don't think it looks nice.
That's
Therefore,
you. That's you looking at
there
yourself.
are times where I will see exactly. And you know what's kind of hard sometimes is that's kind of what you look like here. It's just that you don't get to see yourself all the time. And the camera just captures the truth. So sometimes, yeah, it could go back to maybe I just don't like myself on that angle or on that, maybe I just like to see myself from certain angles.
Do you remember how difficult it was when we were doing the shoot? You don't
Which
remember?
shoot? We
We were doing.
only did one.
No, we did two. One was with your daughter.
Oh Lord. Okay. And don't I don't know what the next.
And the other one was in the park that time.
Oh Lord, that's not no real shoot. Okay, the park. Okay.
But that time we were shooting pictures with your daughter, and
yes.
I had a little setup in the basement.
Who's so scared. My daughter, who's just so nervous. I still have photos from that. By the way.
I have those.
My mother
too.
has one framed. You better get rid of that.
I'm gonna wait till you're famous and
okay.
release it. But anyways, what my point is that you're a pretty woman, right? You can get guys and stuff like that, but you don't have the confidence in yourself just in general. Like I look and I think, wow, this is an amazing shot, but then you'll find some sort of flaw in it.
Because you're looking at, I don't know, you're looking at other things in the back and the blur or whatever.
No, I look at the overall picture.
Okay. Well, you know what? And this goes back to where I started this whole thing of, sometimes our confidence kind of goes in, and for some people in waves and do I think having, not taking the best photos all the time makes me an incomplete person or half of a person or someone who doesn't deserve the best in life? No. It just means I'm not that photogenic, and that's it. And there's some people who can't take a bad photo for nothing. I know, there are people that I hate to say this because it's weird to say this, but people will say that in general they're not like the best to look at all around, like all the time, but in photos, they just photograph very well. Like I don't know. So, but
you know where that comes from?
Confidence.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
No, it doesn't. It comes from bone structure.
The person has confidence in themselves.
And maybe they do, but there are moments I've been very confident, and then I see pictures after that confident moment, and that looks like a joke. That's like, burn those right now. That doesn't mean anything.
Brother.
You know what I think comes through more than anything? I think when you are happy. I think when you are legit happy, because there are photos that I've taken in life that, they are not cute, and I've seen people post them, but you know what I love about it is the moment. And I'm like, guess what? It captured a moment, and it's not all about me. And so that sealed a moment, and we can laugh about it, we could talk about it, and that's bigger than maybe how I look exactly, or how my eyes look, or the fact that my eye was closed, which you always like to point out. About it's so hard to take a picture because my damn eyes close all the time. Yes. And so, yeah. And I've even posted pictures with my eyes closed because I just love the moment. I was like maybe hugging someone. It's just like it was a perfect moment.
I think this whole. Can we say it's safe to say, right, that on your phase, as you say, because you know what, on the contrary, like, you said something and I totally kind of disagree with it.
Yeah.
Like, whereas me, I hard to get where I am in terms of, I love myself. Like, I love where I'm at. I like who I am. I love that I'm straight. Other people may see it as cocky. Some other people as opinionated. Some people don't like it. Or, I've never been one to care about being on the inner circle or the inner crowd. I've always marched to my own drum, my own tune, I have my peoples, and that's all I care about. And the way I look at it, if you ain't in my circle, you ain't strong. Like, you can't hold your own if you're not amongst me. Like, you know what I mean? I think you're a weak individual if you shy away from me, or shy away from my posts or my opinions, or, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things. I love where I'm at. I'm a very truthful, very honest person, very loyal person. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. And it just comes down to it that I'm extremely confident. I'm not overconfident, but I'm extremely confident who I am. Now, even though I didn't want to say it, like, you know what, like, you know, I was working out, stuff of that nature. I haven't been in the gym about 2 months, but I was working out straight, heavy, every day. And it wasn't because I wasn't confident. I just looked at it and said, you know what, man, you can be better.
Yeah. That's me too.
You know, and not I could take off my shirt same way and go on the beach, you know, with my stomach or with my, you know what I mean, my body the way it is, or and not business and care what people want to say. At the same time as like I was like, you can be better.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's like, so when you were saying, like, you know what, people don't find any fault with them. Well, I worked hard to be this person. There's things
And you
like, you know what,
continue to, and I'm sure what I'm telling you is there may be an incident or a number of incidents or something that may throw you off. And I'm not saying
that's what I'm saying. There's nothing that can rock the foundation of who I am, where I've made myself. Like, you know, like who I am, I'm extremely confident in that person. Things that I can't do, or am I not well at, like, or am I not good at? Sure, but it doesn't rock my confidence. It doesn't rock who I am. I know my limitation. It's because I know who I am.
And this is what
I am who I am now. So I don't even. There's nothing that you could say to me that would rock me or make me feel uncomfortable, or, you know what, or make me second guess myself now.
And that's what I'm saying is that's where I say it's hard to judge someone's confidence, because like I said, maybe in certain areas you wouldn't jump, you know, at the chance to compete in a certain area or to be in a show or something that displays a certain talent that, you know, you don't have. But that's a weird way to put it, but there are things that you may not think you're the best at or great at or whatever.
But that's just knowing yourself, knowing your limitation,
or realizing that yeah, and that doesn't make or break you, but it's kind of like this idea of, and it's not so much that's what I'm saying. So and there are things that maybe people are still working on, and so.
But I don't waver.
And
you know that's what? I would know I'm going into playing ball. I would know I'm going onto a court with NBAers. I know I'm going to get stuff and thing, but you think that's going to play? I'm going to guarantee you I'm going to compete.
Yeah, it's true.
I may lose.
Okay, and that's great.
But I would not stop. I would not stop. Like there's nothing that another person. There's no. I will not give a number me. Foundation. There's nothing else. Actually, no. The only probably is my daughter.
Oh no, and this is what I was going to say is I think, and it's hard for me. I'm not trying to argue against that, because I think if someone can say that, then no one should even challenge that. Like, even for argument's sake or discussion's sake, it's very hard for me to speak to that you're putting out there about yourself, because how dare I even challenge that? You know what I mean? If you've gotten to a point and you've told yourself, and that's where you are mentally, physically, like you're there, and you could say, yo, I'm confident 24/7, 365. Okay, that's you. I'm not going to even touch that. For me personally, I think you're saying the same thing as what I'm saying, because you're saying, no, I'm not perfect in every way. No, I'm not trying to say I'm perfect, but I'm perfectly me.
Yeah.
And if you knew there was a challenge, okay, you're going to go into an NBA game, and I'm sure if you knew that a month ahead, I'm pretty sure mentally or physically you would prepare for that, and you would adjust, and you might and you had the opportunity to work out a little before that or enhance yourself, especially if you knew it was going to be televised and there was money on the line. You might prep yourself to be a little more competitive,
but that's just preparation. That's not a lack of confidence. That has to do with you know what? That has to do with intelligence. It's like, all right, you're gonna go play against them, you gotta brush up your game.
Exactly. Okay. And so we'll bring it back to people who physically think, you know what, I'm going into a situation where my looks will be important. I'm entering, you know, another phase in my life, and I know my looks will be important. So I'm going to be all that I want to be, all that I've always wanted to be, and I'm going to enhance and make sure I look the part. And that's kind of the same approach. It's a similar approach.
But the fact remains that you would have to change yourself. Remember, there's a difference between enhancing, as I said, putting makeup on, putting hair clips on, total, then changing your breast size, changing your nose. You know what? Like, you know what?
And you could say that, and you could say that, and no, and you could say that, and that's fair. And the funny thing is, this post that Tyrese put up lumped all of that in one category. He didn't break it down. He didn't say this is to some level, or this is to a degree, or that to that degree. He said, he listed all of that: nose jobs, eyelashes, hair, clip-ins. He didn't even say sew-in. He said clip-in. Clip-in, some people clip-in just for a few hours. So, and he put that all together with butt implants, breast implants. He put that all together.
But you
said,
gotta remember,
manufactured clown. And
but
he
you know
called
what?
women a manufactured clown.
I don't know. The way I interpreted that was he's talking about the kind of person that does all of that stuff. All of that. Not just they put eyelashes on or hair extension.
No, that's not what he said, though. That's not what he said.
But that's how I interpret it. So who's right and who's wrong?
Okay, and that's not how I interpret it. I interpreted that anyone who does any of the above are manufactured and not team natural.
I think he meant all of it as well.
Yeah,
no.
He's talking about.
I don't.
Talk about individual. The way I interpreted that wasn't that it was individual. It was, you know what, the person that does the breast implants, eyelashes, hair extensions, the Barbie effect.
I don't agree. I didn't take it that way.
Puppet effect.
Because there are things on that list that I've done, and I haven't gone under the knife for anything because I'm terrified of that. And to be honest with you, and
so that's why he took it so personal, because there was some stuff on his list that applied to you.
No,
that's why he took it so personal.
No, not really, because right now at this very moment, none of that applies to me. For the last little while, none of that. I could read over that list, but none of that applies to me. So no, it's so reading that, I was not in that situation, and I am so-called I guess team natural at this very. However, next week I'm not going to be, or in a month I'm not going to be, and maybe in 5 years I'm not going to be. But my point is, who the hell are you, Tyrese, or any other man that's going to sit?
But he's allowed to have his opinion.
Of course, no, you're allowed to have your opinion, but when you're starting making these bold statements about no man's gonna want you, and any man that wants you, he only wants the effect of you, and he's not gonna wife you, basically. Who the hell are you to say this? Because I'm seeing, and I'm gonna find those examples that I promised to send, and I'm gonna post them of men that have taken women like that seriously and have wife women like that, and I'm gonna
it as a general statement.
No, but he's making a very direct statement. You know what? Go back on, Google it, go onto my page, Cake with Kirsty, read the statement. And if you guys are actually going to defend any of that, I think that's BS. I think that's disgusting.
No,
and I think most men.
I think Tyrese is a jackass.
I think most men should say, let me give you some advice, men out there. You read that stuff, if your woman comes to you and tests you on or quizzes you on, and mind you, there's a lot of women out there that are so-called team natural, and they do all that, and they don't wear makeup even, and they're all natural, and they're like, whoo, yeah, speak Tyrese, whatever. But I'm like, you know what? The day someone turns around and talks about, because you're natural and because you don't make an effort to put on makeup and you don't make an effort to do this and you don't do that, you're lazy and you don't deserve a man, because that shows that you wouldn't even go at that extra mile for your man. You wouldn't even get dressed for your man. those women are going to be up in arms like, what the hell? And
Right.
and especially those so-called those team natural girls that are sitting there single and unhappy, and then they're going to now, and then that's going to be the reason because they're single and unhappy, because you don't take the time to put yourself together. And you know what? Reducing a woman or reducing a woman's value based on her physical appearance, that is the main issue here. Whether she is team natural, team fake, team enhanced, team whatever the hell you want to call her, whatever team she's on, that's her choice. Let her join her team. And you know what? Sit down and get to know the person and judge them based on who they are and not what they look like. Because you might be surprised, and you might actually be pleasantly surprised about a person despite what they look like on the outside. There's some very superficial, ugly, from the inside out ugly, judgmental, unhappy, natural people. And people that are naturally, let me tell you, there are some naturally pretty girls. They're pretty girls. And I've talked to friends that have dated these pretty girls who don't need one stitch of makeup on their face to have the cutest body. And they are some of the most messed up people who do the wickedest things, who say awful things about people. And those guys had to run. So not everybody that has a certain look falls into a certain category, and that goes for natural or fake. And I think that's what bothered me the most about his statement. And especially as a man,
you got to remember something. He's saying it from a narcissistic point of view, because Tyrese has enveloped. He's made the stardom get to his head. You know what I mean? He's fallen. He is a narcissist. Like,
definitely, I agree.
He's just saying totally like. It's like, you know what? Tyrese ain't the Tyrese that we all quote unquote fell in love with. You know what I mean? Like the singer, the actor. He let this stardom.
That young guy sitting on the back of the bus singing out, "Hey lady." Was that his first song? Hey lady. No, yeah, I think that was. Yo, that was.
But you remember, he's transcended. But he's transcended from singer to actor.
To everything, to having a damn Starbucks in his backyard or whatever else he has in his backyard.
But you can see. That's what I'm saying. You can see that he is now starting to. He has this narcissistic value. He has this Kanye.
Kanye West.
Delusions of grandeur. Like he's bigger than life now. So. From he cannot do no wrong. His opinion is, and he has entitlement now.
He had to take that stupid post down, and I'm sure his wife probably had something to do with that, because she was probably trying to not be the target.
You're just probably being attacked. Like
exactly, and she was being attacked, and she was like, "Listen, I don't want any of this." And it's like, hello, you're still technically a newlywed. Like, go love your wife. Go roll up in your natural bed with your natural wife and talk about her. Why do you care about what all these fake women are doing? You shouldn't even be looking at them. Maybe, I don't know, look at them and lean to your wife and say, "Baby, I love you. Look at that. I'm so glad I have you." And that's it. That's all you should be saying.
All this stuff is because of the generation that we're in right now. You have to release something. You have to release something, and it has to be controversial to get
an attention seeker.
To get the attention. If you release something that everybody agrees with, or you're not going to get far. You have to release something that is controversial, that will get attention and get people to.
But come on, you know what? As much as it got attention, and it gets attention, but I'm like, be a little more creative. Then there are a lot of ways you can get attention.
Negative attention.
Remember, but he's coming from a narcissistic point of view, and he needs that attention now.
And very basic. And you know what? You just got married, and you surprised everybody because nobody knew, and it was a surprise. And oh my gosh, Tyrese! So ride that way for a bit. Like, I just think it was the stupidest thing. And
but he's a narcissist.
Yes,
he needs that.
Agree with
he
that.
Needs that. Listen, he needs that attention. And
I know, and I'm saying be a little more creative in your attention seeking.
But you gotta remember, that's because you're coming from a quote unquote normal perspective.
No, I'm coming from
but he is coming from a I am God perspective. What I say goes.
No, and you clearly see that. You clearly see that in the post. And so for men that jump on, because a lot of people reposted that, and fun, you will see a lot of people actually agree with that. You see women laughing and putting up the thumbs up, and you know, it's certain like women who don't do any of that stuff. So they're like, yay, finally a man is telling these women that you look awful and you're fake and everything. So some people actually rejoiced in it. And then you have other men that's like, real talk though. And it's like, is it like all what he just said? That's real talk. And
I agree with a lot of what he said, but not everything he said. I'm not defending Tyrese because I think he's a damn ass. No,
I just don't agree with you saying it and how he said it and what he said. Nah, I don't agree with it.
Well, I said not. As I said, it's not what you saying, how you say it, but I'm saying is a lot of what he says does hold validity.
No, it doesn't.
Of course,
to say that you look like a manufactured clown, that's your opinion. To say that you're not, to say that you can't get a man because you look like that, wrong.
You're taking the same opposite stance of what you're defending against. You're saying to him, he's entitled to spin just like you are.
No, you said a lot of what he said is valid. No, you could say he has his opinion. Yes.
Tyrese, who are you to say? I'm going to spin it back. I'm playing devil's advocate. Who are you to say that he's wrong?
I am someone who's seen.
You're saying the
because
opposite of what he's saying.
Because I've seen women do those things and not look like a manufactured clown. I've seen women I've seen women who've done that and who are in relationships and are happily with men, and men are happy with them and they're not just hitting them and hit and split. I've seen that. So yes, you are wrong in a lot of the statements you made. That's my point.
I'm not saying that he is, he is 100% correct. I said a lot of what he has, there is validity.
And I disagree. I think a lot of what he said is not right.
And
now, if he came from a point of view, my opinion, and I don't like it, then fine, say it, yell that from every freaking mountaintop. Who's stopping it?
No, but with all fairness, if you can say that about him, if you can say that about him, then I can say that about what you're saying as well.
No, you can't, because I'm not making any grand statement about anybody. I'm not making a statement about anybody.
You said that, you know what, you don't agree with what he says. You know what? He's wrong in what he says, and
he is wrong to say that women that look like that are not in relationships.
Okay, but are
long-term relationships?
Let me ask you a question.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
So you're telling me absolutely that every woman that looks like that.
I didn't say every woman. I didn't say every woman, but he said if you look like that, you're not going to get a man.
That's a general statement.
It's only a man. No, that's not a general statement. That's what he said. Read what he said. And he meant exactly. Don't make those kind of statements because you look like an ass. Because that's not a fact.
But he is right. There are some women that are not in relationships because they look like.
There are a lot of all kinds of women that are not in relationships that like to be in relationships. You have
we're not talking about that.
You have naturally beautiful women. You have women who have enhanced themselves. You have women who don't enhance themselves. You have women who've gone overboard. You've got women. You've gotten women.
We're not talking about.
No, but I'm saying you have women of all kinds that are single. What's your point?
That's apples and bricks. We're not talking
about
all
kinds of women that men use for one night
we're not
stands.
talking
What's the
about
point?
those women. We're not talking about those women.
Again, and what and I've already said that to you, though, Kinetic, but I've already said it. But Kinetic, I've already said it to you. There are women that would fit the category of having at least half of those things on the list checked, and they are in happy long-term relationships.
Tyrese, you have to keep it within the context of what he said. You're talking about
Jesus.
Hold on.
Kinetic, I am.
Tyrese, no,
I'm saying take the list of everything he said. I'm saying take the list of everything he's. Listen to me. Let me be very clear. No, let me say it again. Let me say it again to be clear. Take the list of everything Tyrese said. Apply at least half of those to one individual woman. Okay? And I will show you that some women who have had at least half or maybe even 3/4 of what he said done to one individual woman, and that woman is in a happy long-term relationship. They do exist, and they exist in large numbers because a lot of men like that. And on top of it,
How long?
just because.
That was always the thought. Look,
But you have women that have been in relationships with men for 10, 20 years. I'm going to show you. No, oh my goodness. Oh my good. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. You're just as crazy.
Example.
You're crazy.
No, but
you're crazy.
But what I'm trying to say, you said what you said, kid.
You're crazy. I'm going to, and you know what? It's my mission now. It is my mission to find women. And I'm going to show you some examples. Examples.
Stop. KFC, stop being point driven and listen to what I'm saying.
No, because you're, no, I can't believe what you're saying. And I've heard what you said.
Objective.
I've heard what you said. No, I've heard what you said.
This is funny.
It's the most ridiculous statement that you chose to actually defend in the whole statement.
I'm not defending him. See, just because you said that, you haven't heard what I said. The fact remains that you said that.
No,
you
you are.
You can't tell me no if you haven't heard what I said.
You just said.
You cannot say no if you haven't heard what I said.
I heard what you said.
Say it. You can't, because the fact
I heard what you said.
Said that, KFC, you haven't heard what I said.
I heard what you said. I heard what you said.
The fact remains that you even said that. You have not.
You even questioned me for how long have you been in relationship. At the top of the show, which people, by the way, okay, you know what? I don't think
shut down and just listen to what I have to say without.
Go ahead. You make the final point. Go ahead, make the final point. No, we're gonna wrap. Go ahead. Make the final point.
You're argumentative and point driven for something that you have not heard.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is what I've been missing for the time.
Yes, go ahead. No, Kennedy, please go ahead. No, Kennedy, we're gonna wrap soon, so I want you to make your statement, make it very clear, and we'll end on that note. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm basically saying is this: that we're talking about what Tyrese said. We have to keep it within the context of what Tyrese said. We're not talking about the women outside of that. We're talking about the women, or he's talking about the women inside the context of what he said. That's the first statement. Okay, the women that you're talking about do not apply to what he's saying. We're talking about the women that are not getting married or will not get married because of the way they look. Not the women, not with the men that have gotten them, because a man that would marry a woman and that's totally changed herself and augmented is not of the mentality. Like, for instance, me, I would never get with a woman like that. Okay, not saying I'm all men. I'm talking about me. I would never marry a woman or get with a woman with that mentality. Much more what the fact means that she got it done. So. That's what he's talking about. He's coming from the context of that. Listen, I would never marry a woman like that. He's not talking about everyone, because there are women out there that are happy married. I gave you a case in point, Kanye and Kim Kardashian. She has been totally overdone, and he's happy with that. But he is also a narcissist, and Kim is his trophy piece.
Yeah,
that's that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the men that, that would never get with that. And that's what you're not understanding, is we're not talking about the men that would get with that. We're talking about there are certain women out there that will never get married because of the way they look to men like him or me, or I don't know, Nettie, I can't speak for him. But I'm saying is there's some women that I would never look at. They, because they had the mentality to get that done. And because of that, I will never marry them. I will never date them. I'll never see them. Some other men just want to hit and quit. That. So I'm not defending what he's saying. What I'm saying is he has validity about what he's saying, because you know what? I'm a walking example of that. I would never marry a woman like that. I would never date a woman that. I'd never even be seen with a woman that way. Not because I think I'm better than them or think it's just not my type of woman, not my mentality of woman. So that's all I'm saying. It's not that, we're not going to talk about the men that get with those women, the women that are already married. We're talking about there are certain women out there that will never get married, never be seen. I mean, never end up in marriage because of the way they look and because of the mentality that they have. That's all he's saying. And there's nothing wrong with what he's saying. He's actually correct. But it doesn't mean that he is right or that, you know what, sorry, that he is right, absolute right from his perspective, his narcissistic perspective, is what you're getting angry with. But there's nothing wrong with what he said.
Okay. So kinetic. Okay. So at this point, I like to remind everybody that this is this show is available as a podcast and all of our shows. And I would urge, because I spoke on that at the top of the show, and I actually promised that I would find some women that have had a number of enhancements done, and show that women who have had many enhancements done, extreme or otherwise, um, are actually appealing to some men and are in relationships. So I'm going to make a point of doing that. I have other things I got to do too, so I'm not going to tie myself to a strict deadline, but I'm going to do it. But I want specifically, people, what you just said, what kinetic, I would love for you to listen back to yourself for the last 5 minutes of the show when we're wrapping, to hear what you just said about your agreement, your whatever you want to call it, with that particular statement that Tyrese made, and reread what Tyrese said word for word. It's posted on my Instagram, Cake with Care C. It's also on Kinetic's Instagram, which is iKinetic100. That's his IG. And Nettie, nice. I know you reminded people at the top of the show, but it's Nettie. No,
my
sorry.
my Instagram.
Yeah, or best social media platform, whatever.
Yeah, so they're all pretty much the same. Instagram is Too Nice Photography, which is the number 2, NYCE Photography. Twitter is Too Nice Photo, and Facebook, my main page is the Too Nice Photography page, but it's under Nettie Nice. So
okay, cool.
You can find me there.
And my Facebook is gone. Remember, did I post about that the other day, that they're asking me to go upload government ID about my name? I was like, whatever.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so my Facebook, and just before I hit the 10-year mark, I think it would have been 10 years this next month or something. So no more Facebook, because they ain't getting that out of me. Bye. And like just under 5,000 friends. So bye to all of my friends.
Bye, Felicia.
Right? But yeah, so clearly we yeah, so if you heard the last bit of the show and you want to hear more, just listen to the top of the show. And we'll be back next Tuesday with another show. Before we leave, I'll just remind everybody how you can send a shout out or request your favorite song on vexradio.com. Phone number is 1-877-469-3016. Choose option 1 for a shout out. Option 2 to request your song. Again, 877-469-3016. And check out onvexradio.com. They're actually selling some products right now. So when you first go on the site, it'll pop up so you can get your own Vex goodies. Anything to add, Kinetic, before we leave?
The only thing is that I took your suggestion and I reread what I had said. And
not what you said, Tyrese.
No, what he said, and versus what I said, because I know what I said and what he is. And I think what is left out here is that in that spiel, he says, we know you, like what it says, basically the phrase, to paraphrase it, is, you know what, you're starting to go too far with the manufactured beauty. And I don't see anything wrong with over everything that he said, everything that he listed. And he says, you're starting to go too far with it. And he emphasizes too far with the manufactured beauty. Mm-hmm. So outside of that, I still say within context and based on that, everything that he's saying, there's nothing that I haven't, like, as I said, he's come from an artistic point of view, but at the end of the day, it's not that and
I don't understand why you can continue saying that, but then you turn around and say it's not wrong, and to say you actually agree, and to say you understand. I think you're saying a lot. I think
you're wrong.
No. But but where I have a bit of an issue, and it's not so much those statements, because if that's your opinion, but I think he's very preachy. I think, and I think where
Look at all the name
point,
calling going on.
which I'm not gonna go. Yeah, and I'd say this to his face if I ever had the opportunity. But would he care? No. But when you go on and say you look like a manufactured clown, I think that's going past giving some friendly advice or sisterly advice or whatever, if you want to call it that. And I think you got your temp fix, you will continue to attract. Sorry, he said something about real men. So he said, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just sending a message that us real, no. Because you said you would put yourself in that category, that you, a woman like that couldn't get a man, like you, Kinetic. Right. And he labels that as real men.
I didn't put myself into that. That's unfair.
Real.
I said,
please, we're going to listen back to the last 10 minutes of this.
I said, I'm the type of man that would never get with that woman. I didn't say that I put myself in that category.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to the last 10 minutes and make sure and hear what I heard you say when I shut up as you and I really listened to what you were saying. But my point is, Tyrese, you do not represent every man, and to say that a real man, what's a real man versus a fake man? Those kind of statements, those kind of statements just sound ridiculous. And that's why, and you know what? Everything he said, I think, was wrong. Wow. The way he said it, I think what he said is wrong. I think you know, lumping everything in there. Now, is his opinion? Yes. But the way you delivered it, it wasn't like, hey, here's my opinion. That's not how it was delivered.
According to you, and I'm not saying
and a lot of other people.
According.
So I'm not reading it the wrong way. And you said I'm getting upset about something, and you know what?
No, you did internalize it. You definitely internalized it.
No, because it did. Like I said, I don't know if you were on the line when I said it, but actually none of that stuff that he listed applies to me. But you know what? The choice as a woman, as a person, to do any of that and still be considered a wonderful, beautiful person that I think I am. I just think that's the point I'm trying to make, is that don't come to any grand conclusions about people who do these things. Don't overanalyze them. I posted something before I posted that. Those who spend their time looking for the faults in others usually make no time to correct their own. And I mean, that can be paraphrased and adjusted, you know, to include people who constantly notice the faults of others, or critique or comment on, need to look at their own shit, basically. And I find that applies to a lot of people in life. And in this case, it's big time, in my opinion. And maybe those simple words could have been.
Would it make you feel better if he said those words? In my opinion, that would have changed this whole statement.
No, it would kind of shield his statement, and it would basically shield it from anybody saying, who are you and how dare you to speak on behalf of all real men out there, and what's a real man? He just opened up a lot of.
Well, that's where the narcissism comes in again. That's we could say.
You know what? You could call it whatever it is. I don't care what it's called, and I don't care what it's labeled, and I don't care how he's diagnosed. The point is, he said it. And I think a lot of people out of that who don't consider themselves,
but it doesn't mean that it was wrong,
would still say a lot of what he said. No, I think it's. I personally think it's wrong.
You blanketed
on behalf of all real men.
You said it's wrong. He's not.
Yeah. I did from my point of view. In my opinion,
exactly what he did, and then that's what the kettle.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
You blanketly said
I'm not making a blanket. I'm not making a general statement about everybody in the world or every man in the world. I'm actually reading a statement, and I am critiquing that particular statement.
Just because
and that particular statement is full of a lot of BS to me, and I'm going to call it that.
But not everything. I'm not saying that he's.
No, but I'm calling it. I'm saying everything in there is BS. I'm saying it the way he delivered it. I'm saying that is.
And this is directed to.
And I'm not calling Tyrese the man BS. I would never say that this is, because I don't think Tyrese would say those exact same words. And the fact that he took it down is a big statement in itself. And I think he may actually he may have actually apologized, or he may have actually corrected his statement to someone he knows that has okay, it could be, but you know what? But I'm also saying I'm giving the man the benefit of the doubt that it maybe in a couple years or in a few months he might say, you know what? Actually, yeah, that statement I made, I shouldn't have made it like that. Mind you, a lot of that stuff I do believe, but I think the way I said it kind of came off harsh, and maybe I shouldn't have used those words, and maybe I should have said something about real men. And so I'm critiquing a statement. I'm not even critiquing a man. And so you know what? This is my point, Kinetic. Learn how to critique one aspect of something and not generalize it.
I don't have a problem with what you just said there. What I did have a problem with, because you did exactly what he did and made a blanket mistake.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't make a blanket statement about who. What blanket
you
statement?
said that everything he said was wrong, but I have no problem with how he said it. You could be mad at what he said. I mean, how he said it versus what he said. Not everything he said is wrong.
That statement in itself, Kinetic, the statement, in my opinion, was not right. I don't know if you want to say
different, you wouldn't have had an exception with it, correct?
You know what? We're still not seeing it the same way, and we're gonna. So I think you've made your point. I think you've made your point. I think you've made it. I think there are people that are going to agree with you and get it, and I get what you're saying. But what I'm trying to say is you're saying I'm making a blanket statement. Yes, I'm making a blanket statement about
you see it though, because you're
not being objective. One post that this man made. I'm making a blanket statement about one post that this man made. I'm not even making a big generalization about Tyrese the man.
You said that was wrong statement.
You guys are going around the same circles.
I know, and that's why I want to end it, because
that is a blanket statement.
No, that's my opinion about that statement. I think that statement is wrong. Am I going to say everything Tyrese says out of his mouth is wrong? That would be making a blanket statement about this man's opinion.
No, but I'm talking about in context. Keep it in context.
No, this particular. Okay, I'm done.
Everything that he said in that statement was wrong, and it's not. Okay. Because you've taken exception to the way he said it, not what he said. If you're objectifying it,
no, honey, I'm talking about what he said. I'm giving specifics about what he said.
And again, and how he said it. I was trying to direct it to Nettie Nice. Nettie, honestly, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. And I'm gonna ask you straight, objectively. Do you think that everything he said was wrong and like totally invalid? Or is there some validity to some of the things he said, and some of the things are just blanket statement wrong?
Before I answer that, I have to read the whole thing carefully. Because I'm only going by what KRC has said on the show. I didn't actually read the article or listen to it or whatever. So for me to make that actual talk, I have to go through it. I can do it now, but we're ending the show, so
yeah, we'll comment. You can comment on it after. Kinetic posted it as well. Kinetic posted on his Instagram, so you can comment there. So he sees what you think. I guess maybe that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But
the whole thing is on there.
What I posted and then what he posted, but there's one that had just an intro to it saying what sparked the conversation, but the main what he had to say about it is there.
Okay, so Kinetic, I'll go on your page and I'll read it, and then I'll make my opinion when Karen's not around. KRC's not around, sorry.
Whatever. You're so silly. Whatever. I know what I said. But anyway, thank God this is recorded. Watch the podcast, listen to the podcast, people. So you know the last. Anyway, we'll touch base again. And if, gosh, this should be one that we can actually dissect a little and break it up. I'd love to have it done that way. So I'm going to see if we can. Anyway, another great chat. Thank you.
Cool.
Peace, y'all.
Okay.
Right.
Take care.
Bye.